Well, hello, everybody.
Woo-hoo!
Good morning, Sam, Kemper, Echo, Rooster, Travis.
Says a cock-a-doodle-doo.
I know a girl who says.
I'm going to find that song. We're not just making that up. I had the 45 by at the time, Los number 2 dinners.
Now, kids, a 45 is what they small album, and an album is a giant CD with 2 sides.
Kids know what a CD is anymore?
Oh, that's true. They might not know. CD was a small album.
Yes, they called it a compact disc.
And welcome to November, everyone.
Ooh. And it's 5 o'clock, and I have not drank yet in the month of November.
What?
I have made
There's still a chance.
5 hours.
Morning, Kemper.
Camper, good morning. Camper was Snoopy for Halloween. Very cool Snoopy costume.
One of my favorite characters. Love it. I know. Where'd this come from?
I don't want to judge.
Is it time to move?
Yeah. They're training her as Maggie's replacement.
There's no replacement. Yeah. Once again, good morning, Travis. Oh, hello.
Enjoy it while you've got it.
Bummer. Such a bummer. I'll be there. He's ready to roll.
Kemper, Sam, Echo. Travis, Tracy Bogart.
Bogart.
In the Witness Protection Program.
Oh, he's there. He just doesn't chat anymore.
Yes.
He's watching.
Yeah. Rooster,
where's Andrew Zimmel?
Yeah, where is Andrew Zimmel?
Andrew, where are you, man?
Yeah, kudos to EJ for making this broadcast go.
Yeah, thank you, EJ.
Some people don't desert us.
So Mark Cuban slams women associated with Trump. He did it on The View. How does anybody know?
Good point. I'm assuming he's got the...
yeah, it's ready to go. Ready to roll, man. A check that was there. Ooh, look, Von Ormy. She's standing in Von Ormy.
Yes, I like it even more now.
Good morning, Rooster.
Cock-a-doodle-doo, Rooster.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, man. How bizarre. Well, happy early birthday, Rooster. Sunday is Rooster's 60th birthday.
Wow, Rooster.
Man. So do old Rooster still crow?
Rooster, you will survive 60.
Yeah,
I know,
60 was fine.
I know firsthand.
Yeah, 60 was fine. I enjoyed 60.
You have more of a right now to tell kids to get off your lawn.
Yeah, that's the first thing I did when I turned 60. Yeah. It's like, hey, get off my lawn.
And when you turn 64, you get to play the Beatles.
Yes, you do.
All day long, on repeat all day long.
Yes, you do. It just follows you around everywhere you go.
Ainsley got the memo.
Yes, she did. She seems to get the memos, doesn't she?
I think she's gotten the memo all week.
Yes, she has. Hang on, people. Hang on.
Right. So.
All right.
Got to remember to get out of that segment early.
I have it on the rundown.
All right.
Now, from what I understand, no coach on Monday.
Is that from Terry?
Yeah. When I talked to him about the last one, he said he was going to reach out to him for.
But you haven't heard him say
No. No.
So we got to be prepared if he calls in.
Exactly.
Okay, that's the way we'll play it.
Yeah.
We'll assume it ain't happening, but no.
Chances are it will be happening.
Yeah. It didn't they? He looks.
M1A1. What's up, brother? Jim Munoz. What's going on, man?
Post that on the story yet? I think I did. Jim Munoz, welcome in. Well, that was on the road at the Utah Jazz. All right.
Now, have you seen the picture of Victor yet?
I have not yet. I got to look for
Unbelievable.
it. I haven't seen it.
Dude does good costumes. Last year was the alien.
Cool.
This year, I guess it's called No Face. I'm not sure. Cindy told me what it was. I had no clue. Like, what the hell was that?
Oh, now I see it. This is it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, Victor Wembanyama's Halloween costume.
That is too wild.
Not for Charlie Parker.
No. Oh, episode 200 of Live in the Building.
Wow, I missed the first 199. I'm gonna have to.
I missed the first 200, so
I'm gonna have to catch up. Episode 1 of The Diplomat, very good, but no recap.
Oh,
so I had to stop like 7 minutes in. I said, let's go back to the end of the final episode of season 1.
Yeah.
So I watched about 10 minutes of that. That helped a little, but it's been well over a year since.
Now, Sam, I think they call it No Face or something like that, according to my wife. Am I correct on that,
Yeah,
Sam?
I have no idea who that character is.
Yeah, I did not know who it was. Travis, have a great day.
Travis already out of here?
Well, he's getting ready to go hunting.
Oh, okay. Take us with you.
Yeah.
You got a smartphone?
Yeah. Yeah, the deer love. Or no, you're not deer hunting. You're probably dove hunting. No, it could be deer. No, it's deer. It's deer season. They love this show.
They do. I mean, they're right out front.
Yeah.
Out front of the door.
Yeah, they're waiting
Trying to
for us.
get in.
Waiting for us when we get here. Oh, and I forgot to tell everybody on the stream, Friday-luya to ya.
Friday-luya to you, which reminds me, we have Opelka.
Yes.
So we got to remember.
Yes.
You bring us into that segment.
Yes, we do. Captain Ducky, good morning. He's from the anime Spirited Away. The actual name is Kayanashi. Oh, I like that. He listens to us in the deer blind when football is on. Love it.
Appreciate it.
Get a meter, dude. Oh, it was fun. We just went and shot a video with them, Rooster, but thanks for asking. Yeah. We went and did a couple videos with Louis Barrios, and one of them is up already. The other the other one will be posted at a later date.
In fact, Kemper saw it, liked it, and said we should begin planning a San Antonio's First News YouTube viewers party.
I like it.
Hey, any excuse for a party at La Hacienda?
You had me at party. I'm just saying. Chris, stand by. Let's go.
Welcome into this beautiful day, the first day of November. 2024. 2 days until we return to standard time, and you get an hour of sleep unless your name is Charlie Parker, who refuses that hour of sleep. 4 days until the 2024 election, 27 days till Thanksgiving, 54 days until Christmas, and 231 days until Mr. T and I celebrate the first day of summer, 2025. Now, those are all very, very important days, but there's something about today. This is the day we've all worked toward all week long because today is Friday!
Woo! Oh, Friday-luya. Good.
Don't wake up the kids. Instead, steal their Halloween candy, get in the car naked, drive down Commerce Street eating that Halloween candy. You made it, I made it, Charity made it, Mr. T made it, EJ Pacheco made it. We all made it to Friday. And Charity McCurdy not only did not get a nap yesterday, she had to supervise not only her own kids, create the costumes, do the face paint, but other neighborhood kids going all over trick-or-treating last night.
Yeah, I'm somehow here and awake, and I'm going to try to keep my voice after shouting repeatedly. Make sure you say, happy Halloween and trick-or-treat. Only take one. Use your manners. Say thank you. Get off the street, car.
Wow.
Yeah, that was me last night.
Car, watch out.
Now, were there any, Charity, my favorite line as a kid, trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. Any of that? Does that still happen?
Yes. In fact, I had to tell my son and daughter, no, you don't say that after you ring the doorbell and your neighbor answers. No, that's not polite.
Wow.
Keep it indoors. Keep it at home.
Trick-or-treating elitist.
And I think the most offensive part is at the end of that little rhyme,
Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat.
If you don't, I don't care. And my kids, the line is, I'll pull down your underwear.
Whoa, they've added to it. They've added to it.
No, time out. We do not say that. No. So
wow, see, I've never heard that verse.
Yeah,
we stopped it. Give me something good to eat because we had manners, man.
Kids now pulling down underwear.
Yeah, wow.
So, Mr. T, how did you celebrate Halloween?
Like I do every Halloween, Chris. Just another day. I have not had a trick-or-treater in 25 years, man.
I got to be close to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're like, hey, another.
I have no problem.
We win again.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the die trick-or-treater sign I have on my door or what makes them not come. I don't know.
Trespassers will be shot. Sign you have out front.
Actually, I don't even put up Halloween decorations. There's no kids in my neighborhood anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And even when they were, it's just not time effective to go between our houses. So yeah, we don't get trick-or-treaters. Thank God.
Yeah, I'm in that camp as well. All right, let's get this November 1st party started with traffic and weather together.
Cloudy skies today, a stray shower, thunderstorm possible, highs in the low 80s. Tomorrow, showers in the morning, cloudy in the afternoon, highs in the low to mid 80s. Sunday, a chance of a shower or two in the morning, followed by partly cloudy skies in the afternoon, highs in the upper 80s. 68 degrees in New Braunfels, 69 at Lackland Air Force Base, and 66 right here in Stone Oak. WOEI News Time 514.
San Antonio's first news. She's Charity McCurdy. He's Mr. T, Tim Merriman. Charlie Parker, who will not get an extra hour of sleep this weekend. He will have, he's going to have those worth of days in the next hour. EJ Pacheco, once again, flying the Millennium Falcon solo. And yes, he did get the YouTube stream up and running for the second straight day. So he is doing a bang-up job.
Gold star.
Just 15 minutes into the show.
Yeah, EJ's great, but I don't know. The Co-worker of the Week award goes to Chris
Duell.
Duell for the breakfast tacos and
Yes.
potential adult beverages post-show meeting. I don't know. That is just amazing.
That is above and beyond.
It really is.
It really is.
Thank you
Well,
so much.
Well, absolutely, you're welcome. But I must credit you, Charity McCurdy. You told me about the Taco Palenque app, which enables me to pre-order from my phone before I go out the door. And then on the way to work, I pulled into Taco Palenque, and the tacos are waiting for you.
You gotta love that.
Amazing concept.
I love Taco Palenque, but one of my problems it always is I want my food fast, and I often go in, order, and it's like 15 to 20 minutes till the order comes. So, but now a problem solved because I order ahead on the app. Thanks to Charity McCurdy.
The morning after Halloween, how was that drive-through line?
Here's what was the dining room was open because you told me you drive through the drive-through, and thank God I went. I saw somebody walk out. I goes, the dining room open? They said, yeah. So I go in and I picked up the breakfast tacos and I look in. I see no salsa. I said, is there some salsa involved here?
How is that possible?
So they then graciously threw a ton of salsa in the bag.
All good.
So it's all good.
Delicious.
They're fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, very good. I am noshing.
Well, we got a little bit more energy this morning. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, we might have to eat
We're carving up.
Eat breakfast tacos more often.
I vote for tacos.
Yes, I vote for tacos. By the way, it's a Red Friday. If you're watching us on YouTube or if you've been listening to the show, you know we wear red on Fridays to remember everyone deployed until they all come home. Coming up, lots more, and we are just 4 days away from the election. We'll talk about it coming up. WOAI News Time, 517.
And we're back.
Captain Ducky, welcome in. Weather app showing 63 degrees in Kerrville.
Oh, Andrew Zimmel. Good morning.
Andrew Zimmel, what is up? Andrew, I shot this morning's video on your behalf. It is uploaded, sir. Andrew Zimmel, the man who normally runs this YouTube broadcast, and we appreciate all he does. Andrew Zimmel, the toast of Austin Sports Talk Radio. They love him in Austin. They're making him an honorary Longhorn, even though he's a Texas State Bobcat.
Yeah, I don't think that will go over very well at the Bobcat reunion.
Yeah. You don't want to be
You're not allowed in here, sir.
You don't want to be a traitor to Bobcat Nation.
No, that would be awful.
So what are we doing here?
We're not going to have time to do anything, Chris.
So when do you want us out? 24?
You know what? No. 25.
25. Okay.
25, sir.
Final day of early voting, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tags just arrived.
Yeah.
Let me just tell her.
You know, kind of dig the glasses.
Each contract you on January 8th, 2025, if that candidate is confirmed as the next U.S. president by Congress.
Thank you, Andrew. I just saw your reply, dude. Thank you so much. Hope it all goes well for you in Austin. Andrew's even up there Monday. Is that right? Did I hear that right?
Are you in Austin on Monday, Andrew?
I think he is. And then he's back here for like Monday afternoon. And then he's here for election day on Tuesday. I believe that's what I heard.
I thought it was just today and yesterday.
Andrew, if you're still here, let us know about Monday. I could have sworn he said he's out Monday.
See Charity's idea.
Uh,
How do you spend your last weekend before election day? That's what I would ask. You know?
well, and then she says,
I know.
and a potential civil war.
Yeah, I don't want to get that out there.
Yeah, to say that on,
No.
even though, I used to joke
stand
about
by.
it.
Stand by.
Just ahead of headlines, traffic, and weather together. And a friendly reminder, this is the last day of early voting this Friday. One of the many things we'll talk about this morning. First, Charity, what stories are you following?
Dueling presidential campaign events are taking place in Wisconsin today with the final countdown to Election Day underway. A man convicted of attempted capital murder made a daring escape only to be recaptured by Bexar County deputies. And clocks go back 1 hour this Sunday. We'll have more right now, traffic and weather.
There is rain in the forecast all weekend long. How much will we see? We welcome in News 4 San Antonio meteorologist Jeanette Kaye. Good morning, Jeanette. Thanks, Jeanette. It is 67 degrees here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time 522.
San Antonio's first news. Charity McCurdy wearing red. Tim Merriman wearing red. I'm Chris Duell wearing red because it's a Red Friday and we wear red to remember everyone deployed until they all come home. It's also a Friday with Beamer.
Ooh.
Later in the show, Randy Beamer and Charity, we never know. We love it when he's in studio, but we never know if he's in studio or on the phone. And we never know if he's going to give a counseling session to you, Charity.
Yeah, guaranteed good times with
Amen.
Randy Beamer and guaranteed heavy laughter, potential cackles from me, just because he's hilarious. He's absolutely hilarious.
Look, my sides are still hurting from last Friday, so
Yes.
I don't know how much of that side split and laughter I can take.
Oh.
Very, very cool. All right, Charity, we're going to throw a talkback question or two or kind of open it up a little bit. Who knows? For our listeners this morning, what would you like to hear from the listeners this morning?
It's the last weekend before Tuesday's election. And, we keep talking about how anxiety is high. There's fears over the aftermath of the results. Will either side accept the outcome? So this is the final weekend of relative calm. So how are you going to celebrate? Do you have any special plans? That's what I want to know from our listeners on the Talkback feature on the free iHeartRadio app.
Yeah, that's it's interesting because I'm trying to think, what plans do I have this week? And I know Sunday's wide open because I don't care about the Cowboys
And
anymore.
you get an extra hour. This
That's right. I get that
weekend on
extra hour.
Sunday.
What do I do with that extra hour?
Exactly.
That's the real key right there
Yes.
is what do we do with that extra hour? I have no special plans, but I just know it's a lot of rest to get ready for what's coming next week.
Yes, especially us who are
Yes.
going to cover this election. We need to rest up, and I'm sure we will do that. So we're opening it up to you. How are you going to spend this final weekend before the election? You can also throw in What are you going to do with the extra hour this weekend? Charity, how do they get us that information?
The absolutely free iHeartRadio app. You search 1200 WYI and you look for a red circle at the top of your screen. That is the Talkback button. And you hit it. You got 30 seconds. And if you get nervous and mess up, you can do it again.
That's right.
No problem.
Yeah.
You're
Take
just
two.
talking to us. you
Yeah,
know?
it's just us.
Yeah.
Come on.
And even some of our best talkback people have told us
Yeah.
if they don't like the first take, they do it again.
Yeah,
Sometimes
so
they
we call
do it-
those the Talkback pros.
Yeah, the
Yes.
Talkback pros. Pro tip. If you don't like it, you can redo it. It's a beautiful thing. All right, we will play your Talkbacks coming up. And coming up at 5:40 ahead of Election Day, officials are preparing for protests and possible violence. Oh, joy. That and more coming up. WOAI News Time 525.
And we're back.
Woo! Happy birthday, Sophia.
Sophie, happy birthday. You mind if we call you Sophie?
Sophie, and what is your choice?
Exact. God,
Thank you
I was just
very
going to say the same damn thing. That's just
Thank you.
eerie.
Great minds think alike.
They do.
Happy
Ken, happy
birthday,
birthday.
Ken.
Which one's Ken?
What is
You get confused when they put
Yeah.
a picture of two people up there and tell me it's one person's birthday.
and is that Barbie next to you? Happy birthday,
What up,
Mason.
Mason? Happy birthday, Mason.
Mason's enjoying, I'm guessing his first birthday. I'm guessing.
Could be second. He's got
Yeah.
teeth.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Happy
So he's
birthday,
not
John.
from Mississippi. He's got teeth.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, John. I keyed to the people of Mississippi. Pascagoula, what a town.
Pascagoula.
Pascagoula, Mississippi.
Spartanburg.
Mississippi Queen.
You know what I mean.
Woo.
Saw a mountain once.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
a classic band.
God, a long time ago, man. And sometimes the guitar would disappear.
The guitar would just.
He was so big.
Oh, I didn't realize.
That's why he got the name Mountain. Yeah, he was so big that when he would put the guitar, if he would turn a certain way, where'd the guitar
Where's
go?
the guitar? Wow.
Yeah.
Never knew that. Highways are wide open.
Yeah, it is. 281 at Borgfeld. Wow. Look at that, man. It looks like me coming in the
Yeah.
morning.
Echo, Kemper, Captain Ducky. Heading to a turkey shoot? Wow. Sickapolin, Echo, Jim Munoz, Sam, Andrew Zimmel.
Andrew didn't, I guess
Andrew's
he's
up
already
early.
gone because he didn't answer our question.
Yeah, I wonder if he's working on that other morning show up there. I don't know.
Wait,
I did not know.
there is no other morning show.
True. Good point. That is interesting that other dude from Eisenhower Road was
Yeah. Yeah.
feeling he should post and mock
Yeah.
the radio station he was listening to.
Yeah. That,
I should go answer. Thank you for the correction and thank you for listening.
get a meter.
Yeah.
I have, God.
So same as rundown on
Yeah.
540.
Look, I don't mind the protest. We got no problem with that. But the violence,
Yeah, no bueno.
no, because it makes us look third world.
Well,
you
and
know?
then you could be protesting. Who was the kid that went across state lines with a gun and
Oh yeah,
killed a couple of people?
yeah.
Yeah, what's his name?
Dylan something. Yeah.
Anyway, so you could be peacefully That's why. Like what Charity said the other day. Don't go into public places,
No.
and certainly don't go into any protests.
No.
Even if you think you're going to peacefully protest, because somebody might be showing up with a gun or a vehicle to run you down.
Okay. Wow, 23 states and Washington, D.C. allow Election Day voter registration. Why?
Well,
I mean,
on a certain level, you're an American. I think you're an American. You should get to vote.
Yeah.
I think when you get your driver's license,
It should be like
It's
when you had to register for the draft.
Oh,
that
are
way.
you an American? Yes. Okay. You get to vote.
Yep. All right, here comes Charity, everybody.
.30 is our time. San Antonio's first news. It is Friday. Good morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, the heavy campaigning continues on this last day of early voting, and a man convicted of capital murder makes a daring escape. We'll have the details. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes and mornings. Your weather forecast for this Friday: cloudy, a shower or storm possible, a high in the low 80s. Tonight's low near 72 with rain possible. Right now, 70 degrees. The presidential candidate spent yesterday out west drumming up support going into the campaign's final weekend. Here's more from Fox's Gernald Scott.
Former President Donald Trump strayed from the battlegrounds to rally in New Mexico, saying he's America's hope.
This is all you need to know. Kamala broke it, and I will fix it.
From there, he later rallied in Henderson, Nevada, near Las Vegas, where Vice President Kamala Harris held a Thursday event. Before that, she was in Phoenix to offer political change.
You give me the chance to fight on your behalf as president. There is nothing in the world that will stand in my way.
Common stops mark the next couple of days. Wisconsin today, North Carolina on Saturday. Gernald Scott, Fox News.
And today is the last day of early voting in Texas, which has been busy.
On the whole, early voting has gone pretty well. It's been relatively smooth.
Alicia Pierce with the Secretary of State's office says for those who voted by mail, there's a new portal to track where it is. There's a section on the state's website, which is votetexas.gov. Next up is Election Day, which is on Tuesday. The White House reportedly altered the official transcript of a call where President Biden said the only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters, which was interpreted as being directed at Trump supporters. The transcript showed that there was an apostrophe in supporters, which seemingly pointed to the president criticizing a comedian who made jokes about Puerto Rico at former President Trump's Madison Square Garden rally. Fox's Brooke Seaman has the latest.
Fox News Digital confirming that the White House altered the transcript of President Biden's controversial garbage remarks. So a White House supervisor saying, quote, our stenography office transcript released to our distro, which includes the National Archives, is now different than the version edited and released to the public by press office staff. Director of White House stenography, Amy Sands, reprimanding the White House press office in an email for releasing an altered transcript. She writes, quote, please avoid sharing rush draft excerpts, which are subject to review and might create confusion among staff, media, and the public while our stenography office completes a thorough review process.
President Biden maintained on social media that he was referring to the comedian at the rally and not Trump supporters overall. A new law goes into effect in Texas today that some say has created fear among certain communities. Governor Abbott says he wants to collect data on the cost of caring for undocumented patients. So starting today, state hospitals are required to ask for a patient's citizenship status. Critics are crying foul. Stephen Love, president of the DFW Hospital Council, says in a true emergency, you will be treated regardless of immigration status or ability to pay.
The one thing hospitals, especially in the emergency department, wants to do is to keep people as calm as possible. They certainly don't want to upset people, by asking their legal status. And we certainly hope it won't deter people from getting care.
Love says some may refuse to answer about their legal status, and that will be recorded. He says hospitals will gather the information and report back to the state by March of next year. A man convicted of attempted capital murder is back in custody after escaping from Bexar County deputies yesterday. Deputies were loading Antoine Foster into a transport vehicle from the county courthouse when he jumped out of the vehicle, slugged a deputy, and ran away. He was recaptured before 6 p.m. Foster was convicted earlier yesterday of attempted capital murder of a police officer and sentenced to life in prison. He'll now be charged with escape, evading on foot, and assaulting a public servant. The New York Jets beat the Houston Texans in their Halloween matchup last night. Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers connected with wide receiver Garrett Wilson for 2 touchdown pass, including this one-handed effort by Wilson early in the fourth quarter.
4-man rush. Rodgers to the end zone. And Wilson, can he one-handed and stay in bounds? They say he was out.
That sound courtesy of Amazon Prime. The call was overturned and ruled a touchdown to put the Jets ahead of the Texans 14-10. The Texans fall to 6-3 on the season and will host the Detroit Lions next Sunday night. And speaking of Sunday, the clocks go back 1 hour. Daylight saving time ends at 2 a.m. November 3rd and starts again in March of next year. That means an extra hour of sleep. Only Hawaii and Arizona don't observe it. It is 5:37 now with breaking crime news from around the country. Here's Nancy Grace. Traffic and weather together in a minute. But first, a check of your money and the world of business as we await that October jobs report. We say good morning to Courtney Donahoe, live at the Bloomberg News Desk. Thanks, Courtney. Remember, your trusted source for timely and in-depth election coverage is WOAI. Count on us to deliver the latest updates on Decision 2024. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news on this first day of November. I can't believe it. We're just 4 days away from the 2024 election on Tuesday. We are your election central headquarters now through and beyond the election. God knows when we'll know who the winner is. We will bring you full team coverage with our great analysts and great guests. And we use all of our resources. Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman, Charlie Parker at 648 with Those Were the Days. I'm Chris Duell. And Charity, you posed the question. We'll get to the talkbacks here at about 5:52. How are people going to spend this weekend before the election? A lot of communities are policing up. A lot of communities preparing for protests and preparing for possible violence. Obviously, we pray that doesn't happen, but certainly these law enforcement agencies have to be vigilant.
Most definitely. And I imagine, especially in the DC area, I mean, you're going to have businesses boarding up, increased security, just because you don't know exactly what to expect. It's better to be over prepared than under prepared.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I think look, election day, I don't think is going to be the problem. I think it's the days after the election, leading up until January 20th. Anytime in that window, we could see anything happen there. And I think that's where we need to be more vigilant.
Yes. And the fears, what's interesting, there are fears on both sides. We had a lot of people on our talkbacks yesterday, listeners to this show saying, I hope Democrats and Kamala Harris supporters aren't going to take to the streets, riot, and become violent if she loses. I know there's people on the left who fear if Donald Trump does not win, that people on the right will riot. So people are on edge, and I just hope that people think twice, and take a deep breath, and don't do anything stupid. And we certainly don't want to lose any lives over this election.
And I think after the events that took place on January 6th of 2021, I think there's a heightened fear of that possibility. I mean, I don't think anyone would have predicted or would have thought what happened on January 6th would have happened. It's just, we're in uncharted territory. It's the fear of the unknown at this point.
Yeah, fear of the unknown is always a problem. Look, I look at it like this. This has been one long election. It's been going on for years now. We've been covering this for years. I think after Tuesday, people should just take a step back and go, whew, it's over. Let me relax for a minute.
But
I know.
What if it's not over?
Well, the election itself is over.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But I've done my part as a citizen.
Yes.
Now it's up to them. Let me sit back and wait and see how long it's going to take them to get this figured out.
Yes. However, I saw one analyst remind us that there are 76 days between election day and certification day, which is January 6th, which has now become an infamous date in American history. If there is a dispute, and Charity, we know there will almost certainly be a dispute because both sides have lawyered up. You have a number of election officials and elected representatives in some states saying, I won't certify this election if my person doesn't win. And if that's the case, then that's got to go to the courts, and the courts have to get an injunction and demand that those people certify. I mean, I hate to put this out there, but and I hope it doesn't happen, but it's possible we could be involved in this for 76 days after the election if we don't have a certain winner.
And we thought we were exhausted now.
90 days till actually the inauguration after the election. 90 days. So, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And again, and we have no idea how this is going to play out. I mean, I will repeat, because he said it earlier in the week, and he'll be on again, of course, a little bit later. Mike Opelka, who keeps a close eye on Pennsylvania, they can't open any mail-in ballot, any overseas ballot, any military. They can't begin counting anything until Tuesday night when the polls close. So Mike thinks Pennsylvania might not have a result until Saturday
at the earliest. Yes.
And if that's if it hinges on Pennsylvania at that point, it's going to be a very interesting week.
I don't think the American people are very patient. I just imagine the anxiety will be even higher if we do not have the official results on November 6th. I mean, maybe we can stretch this out, till the end of next week. But beyond that, I think tensions will really start to boil. But I hope I'm wrong.
And that could be dangerous if tensions start to boil if they don't get an answer by the end of next week. Then that's maybe where you need to look and have problems with people acting out.
Yeah. Just buckle up, fasten your seatbelts. We'll bring you all the latest every step of the way. But coming up, we'll go back in time. Flashback coming up. We'll see what year we land in. WOAI News Time 546.
And we're back. Okay.
It's amazing how one more minute.
I know.
That was it felt like a full segment. We had plenty of time to talk, and that was
a
boom,
conversation.
Boom, 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 boom.
A boom, 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 boom.
Bob Beavers, everybody.
Good morning. Happy Thursday, Bob. I mean, Friday. I know. I should stop.
Welcome in, Bob. He's Henry Guerra. I'm Sonny Melendrez.
And The Rock is in here. Good morning,
The Rock. The Rock. When did The Rock? I missed The Rock coming in.
He's up there right under Rooster, between Rooster and Travis.
Rock, I will have you know, I have not had a drink in the month of November. I have gone 5 hours and 47 minutes. No Movember. No drinking so far, Rock. However, the Cowboys could drive me to drink. How about them Spurs? Big Spurs victory.
Day 8 for The Rock.
Woo! Day number 8. Wow. Congratulations, Steve DeRocco.
DG Ballhead. No, is it DG? Yeah, DG Ballhead.
Or is
That's
it
gotta
OG?
be Tracy.
It's
Is it
OG,
OG
isn't it?
or DG?
OG.
No, it's OG. Sorry. I wonder if that. It's day 7 now.
See, Rock, I think you're drinking already.
Yeah.
You're mixing the days.
It's hard.
up, man.
It's hard to count when you've been drinking. OG Ballhead. I think that's Tracy. What do you think?
No, well, Tracy is the chairman of the Bear County MAGA
Yes, he is.
Republicans.
Yes, he is.
So that could be him.
Very possible, Chris. Very possible. I love little baby ducks. Old pickup trucks. All right, let's go back in time. What do you say, guys?
We'll go back in time. Steve DeRocco, we need to do a polar bear thing. Oh, it was funny. I sent Steve DeRocco and Doug McCoy,
my
brother-in-law, who I just brought up off the air to Mr. T. I sent them the video, and at the point when Louis Barrios says, ladies love Wednesdays because it's Margarita Day, and then you say, I'll be here every Wednesday, Louis. Then Doug McCoy goes, Wednesday should be the weekly San Antonio Polar Bear Club get-together.
Hello, frozen margaritas. It makes sense.
Yes, they're frozen margaritas, polar bears.
I like it.
Yes.
All right.
So, Rocket Man, if you or I fall off the wagon this weekend, and again, I haven't drank in nearly 6 hours. Temperatures. Okay.
Sorry, Chris.
That's all right.
Sorry, Rock. Minutes. Just minutes, Chris. Minutes.
We are minutes. It is time to go back in time. But what year will we land in? You try to figure it out. We'll try to figure it out. Let's play Flashback.
Oh.
Woo!
Ah. Wow.
See, this is perfect because Charity loves Taylor Swift, and Mr. T, you love Lizzo.
Yeah, big Lizzo fan.
One
Big
of you has
Lizzo
to be
fan.
able to get this one. Anybody?
2019?
I'll agree. 2019.
I cannot dispute the two of you. Let's find out. 2019.
Yay!
Boom
Hey!
goes the dynamite.
Right on.
Charity McCurdy, you can't stop her. And then she gives you the news. What stories are you following?
Today is the last day of early voting in Texas, with the polls open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The White House reportedly altered the transcript of President Biden's controversial garbage comment, and San Antonio is making history with its new fire chief. We'll have the details right now, traffic and weather.
Cloudy skies today, straight shower, thunderstorm, possible highs in the low 80s. Tomorrow, showers in the morning, cloudy in the afternoon, highs in the low to mid 80s. Then on Sunday, chance of shower or two in the morning, followed by partly cloudy skies in the afternoon, highs in the upper 80s. 63 degrees in Kerrville, Texas, 69 in Alamo Ranch, and 67 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 5:52.
San Antonio's first news. First day of November, 4 days until the election. Can you believe it? We are all over it. And in addition to our full team coverage, my goodness, we've got White House correspondent John Decker, national correspondent Rory O'Neal, national correspondent Aaron Real, Mike Opelka of the Pure Opelka podcast, all of our resources from multiple networks. And Charity, a big part of our coverage is the people, those listening to this radio program. And Charity, you have a question for them this morning.
Yeah, we want to know, do you have extra special plans this final weekend before the big election that just can alter the course of the United States of America? Tensions have been high. We've been talking about a lot of anxiety surrounding this election. So maybe this is your final, big weekend to do something special. We're curious to know from our listeners on the free iHeartRadio app using the free Talkback feature.
Yeah, and it's pretty simple. We'll start with our good friend Rooster.
Hey, good morning, Tim, Chris, and Charity. It's Rooster. Well, I'll be spending my weekend up there by Canyon Lake off of 306 celebrating my 60th birthday. And I'd like to send out a special shout out to my good buddy Tapmaster and his wife Gina, who will be celebrating 22 years of marriage, man. So good luck to them, and good luck to me that I make it back on Monday, and be talking to you soon, and happy Red Friday. Here we go.
I love the harmonica at the end of his talkback. Well, first of all, Rooster, happy 60th birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Rooster.
Happy birthday.
Tim, you and I are living proof that you can survive a 60th birthday.
Yes, you can. Now, after that, it's all downhill, Rooster. Just saying.
Well, then it gets worse. If you turn 64, everybody plays the Beatles When I'm 64 all day long
on a loop, and it
on
just
your
keeps coming.
64th birthday.
I want to know if Rooster just busts out that harmonica whenever his bride starts saying something he doesn't want to hear. He just starts playing the harmonica.
I've never thought about that, but that does sound like a good idea. Maybe I'll take up the harmonica.
That's a good tactic. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just practicing, honey.
Funny.
All right, let's check in with Kemper.
Happy Friday. No doomsday prepping before the election. Just going to Worst Fest this weekend, church, the usual stuff. But it is National Texas High School Coaches Day. I wanted to give a shout out to Todd Dodge, my cousin's husband, one of the top high school football coaches, and also his son, Riley Dodge, and my daughter's boyfriend, Steve Ayala, up-and-coming basketball coach at Westlake High School.
Wow.
Wow, Westlake High School.
Yeah, no
That's
kidding.
a serious sports high school, Steve Ayala. What a great Texas coach name, Todd Dodge.
Todd Dodge, great coach.
Todd Dodge.
But going back to Westlake,
like-
I believe they take Perrier water breaks like
Yes, they
Alamo
do.
Heights.
Yes, they do. It's almost like, but Todd Dodge is like Marshall Matt Dillon. It's like Coach Dodge.
I like it.
It's a
I
tremendous,
like it.
great
All right,
name.
let's check in with our favorite school teacher.
Hey guys, Steve from Lotto. This afternoon after school, this deplorable piece of garbage is going to go vote for the third time to make America great again. And clueless, cackling Kamala, pack your bags. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. See, I can affect a fake accent too. She's not the only one. This weekend with the extra hour and the next couple of days, we're getting ready. The Pirate Band, for the first time in 42 years, is going to state. Y'all have a great Friday and a good weekend.
Wow.
The band is going to state.
Hey.
Wow.
That is huge.
That is huge, man. Good luck with that, Stephen.
This deplorable piece of
Okay.
garbage. All right, now I wonder if you go to the polls in a yellow and orange garbage truck vest,
Is that considered electioneering?
is that a political statement? And are you going to be banned from the polling place?
You know, I saw people posting pictures handing out candy wearing a garbage worker vest with a MAGA hat.
That is great. What a great, easy costume.
A for creativity.
And it's
yeah.
easy, though. That's an easy
Yeah.
one. I like that. You got time for one more?
Yeah.
One more.
All right, here we go.
Top Rod here from Boverde. What are my final plans before the election? 2 words for you. Gun show. What's up, Marcus?
I didn't think about that. With the potential Kamala Harris presidency, there's always that concern that it's going to, mean new gun laws, gun restrictions.
I'm hearing a lot of those gun show commercials on our air.
Yes.
They're making gun shows guns again.
Yes, they are.
So when were gun shows not guns is my question.
Well, apparently they have been not guns. I didn't know that there was such a thing.
But thank goodness they're making
Yes.
gun shows guns again. Just wait 10 minutes. You'll hear that commercial again and enjoy the gun show this weekend. All right. Lots more coming up. And Charity's got everything you need to know at the top of the hour. WOAI News Time 5:58.
And we're back.
Andrew Zimmel says
Yeah.
Todd Dodge might be the best Texas high school football
agree.
coach ever.
I agree. He's up there, man.
Wow. Better than Jeff Traylor?
Ooh, well.
I don't know, man.
Ooh, well.
Who was that guy at Judson all those years?
Oh, Rackler.
Rackley?
Rackley.
Yeah,
He was good.
And before him,
He
though,
was,
and then he became the head of the Texas high school football.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Oh, God.
Rutledge?
Yes. D.W. Rutledge. Thank
D.W.
you.
Rutledge. Before your time, young Andrew Zimmel, there was a coach named D.W. Rutledge who was pretty good.
So, Andrew, are you going to be here Monday?
Yeah, Andrew, are you here Monday or not? I thought you told us you're not here Monday. Please let us know. Because if I didn't hear it from Terry.
That's true. And do you know if Terry's going to be here this morning? All things we want to know.
Friday through Friday.
Yeah, but is he coming in early? He's got to be here late. So
Good question. So Steve Duraco, if you're still here. Not that I'm planning to fall off the wagon.
Oh, I am. Well, I've never been on the wagon.
Right.
Sorry.
But if you and I and Doug McCoy and others did, pool's still going to be sunny and warm at the pool this weekend, from what I understand.
It'll be a little.
What's the high temperatures this weekend?
85 and 88.
All right.
Yeah.
Mid 80s, high 80s.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's our final weekend
True that.
before the Civil War. I can say that on YouTube.
Yeah, you can say that on YouTube. That's fine. Here comes Charity, everybody.
6 o'clock is our time. San Antonio's first news. It is Friday. Good morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, just 4 days left until Election Day. And San Antonio has a new fire chief. We'll have the details, first traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. And your Weather Channel forecast for this Friday: cloudy, a stray shower or storm possible, a high in the low 80s. Tonight's low near 72 with rain possible. Right now, 68 degrees. Well, former President Trump held a rally in Albuquerque, New Mexico, calling on his supporters to go out and vote. He also spent time attacking Vice President Kamala Harris for her calls for unity in her closing argument speech, despite her recently referring to the former president as a fascist.
You know, she talks about unity. Oh, unity, unity. Oh, yeah, unity. By the way, he's like Hitler. He reminds me of Hitler. He's a fascist. She's talking about we're going to have unity, and then she calls me a fascist in the next sentence. This is the worst unifier.
And this rally came the same day Kamala Harris was also campaigning in the Southwest, making stops in Arizona and Nevada. In Las Vegas, Harris highlighted Trump's role in reversing Roe v. Wade, leading to abortion bans in 21 states.
When Donald Trump was president, he hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. They did as he intended. And now in America, 1 in 3 women lives in a state with a Trump abortion ban.
Abortion remains one of the top 3 issues for voters during this election. Well, the White House reportedly altered the transcript of President Biden's controversial garbage comment, despite the concerns of stenographers. The transcript dispute stems from a virtual Harris campaign call Biden participated in on Tuesday with Voto Latino, in which he attempted to criticize a comedian's comment at Trump's Madison Square Garden rally that called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. In the Zoom call, Biden seemingly called Trump supporters garbage. The opportunities to vote for president are quickly closing. Rex Oates has more.
Today is the last day of early voting in Texas, which has been busy. Alicia Pierce with the Secretary of State's office says so far about 7 million people have cast a ballot.
And when you look at early voting in person and then early voting by mail, we already have about 40% of registered voters who've cast a ballot.
For those who voted by mail, there is a new portal to track the envelope. It's on the state's website, which is votetexas.gov. Voters still have time to correct any mistakes. Next up is Election Day, which is on Tuesday. Those lines should be long too. I'm Rex Oates, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
San Antonio City Council is divided over a recommendation plan to get rid of horse-drawn carriages in the downtown area. Councilman Manny Pelaez says we need to protect our brand, and live horses on city streets are not favorably viewed.
I've spoken to San Antonians all over this city who express more support for excluding horses from downtown than keeping the horses downtown.
The Transportation and Infrastructure Committee voted unanimously in August for city staff to come up with options for phasing out the popular carriages within 1 to 3 years. The ban would wipe out 5 small businesses and 81 jobs. A vote may happen in December. A new era has begun in the San Antonio Fire Department as Assistant Chief Valerie Frosto became the city's first female fire chief. Eric Lycum has more.
Of the United States.
Of the United States.
And of this state.
And of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
That's Valerie Frausto taking the oath of office as a fire chief by unanimous approval of San Antonio City Council. The 51-year-old San Antonio native has been with the department for a quarter of a century and has worked in every aspect of it. Not only did she beat out dozens of competitors nationwide, she withstood disparaging remarks about women from her former boss, as well as an effort to oust her from the running by the union.
It never even crossed my mind. I always have a positive attitude, and I just continue to move forward.
She vows to improve communications, transparency, training, and resources for her 1,800 firefighters, about 100 of whom are women. Eric Lycum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
An executive order in Texas now requires hospitals across the state to ask patients about their citizenship status. The mandate set to take effect today. It's an effort to tally up how much money the state spends on medical care for undocumented immigrants and requests that money back from the federal government. Despite the order, hospitals are required to give emergency medical care to patients regardless of their immigration status. Also, patients are not required to answer the question. And an important reminder, clocks will go back 1 hour this Sunday. Brian Shook has more.
Daylight saving time ends at 2 a.m. November 3rd and starts again in March of next year. That means an extra hour of sleep. Only Hawaii and Arizona don't observe daylight saving time. There have been proposed bills that would end the time change every year and make daylight saving time permanent. I'm Brian Shook.
It is 6:06. The Spurs scored a big win on the road against the Jazz. The voice of the Spurs, Bill Schoening, has details in today's Spurs Report.
San Antonio's first news on this first day of November, a red Friday, as we all wear red to remember everyone deployed until they all come home. Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman, I'm Chris Duell, Charlie Parker with Those Were the Days at 6:48. EJ Pacheco doing all the heavy lifting this morning, flying the Millennium Falcon. He's running our YouTube broadcast. You want to watch the show on YouTube, and there's a live real-time chat you can participate in as well. We often jump in there. We jump in during the commercials to talk with the people as well. Go to YouTube, look for 1200 WOAI. Coming up, we'll talk about this race for the presidency, what the candidates did yesterday, what they're doing coming up. But first, your traffic and weather together. San Antonio's first news, the great philosopher Jim Morrison, also known as Mr. Mojo Rison, once said, "The West is the best. Get here. We'll do the rest." Well, the candidates went west yesterday. In fact, let's listen to a little bit of Donald Trump from the West.
I swear.
I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them. I'm going to protect them from migrants coming in. I'm going to protect them from foreign countries that want to hit us with missiles.
Donald Trump. Those comments spurring controversy among Democrats. They kind of jumped on Donald Trump, Charity, for saying, "I'm going to take care of women whether they like it or not."
Yeah, especially with the Democrats using reproductive rights as kind of their rallying cry, and why they're opposed to former President Trump getting another term in the White House. And again, I just think it's going to probably get nastier from here. I know former President Trump is getting some heat for comments that he made in his campaign appearance alongside Tucker Carlson, where he said Republican Liz Cheney wouldn't be such a war hawk if she had guns pointed at her. So that is not going over well with especially Democrats. So buckle up. We'll see what comes next.
Yeah, going into the last full weekend of campaigning before Election Day, will the gloves come off? Will it get nastier? Can it get any nastier? I mean, they're at each other. Both candidates taking shots at each other. Will it heat up this weekend? That's what I'm interested in finding out.
I think the answer is yes. And to your question, can it get any nastier?
I think yes.
This is America. This is Donald Trump. This is Kamala Harris. I think it can, and I think it will. I just think with each comment, it's going up a notch. Even when they themselves don't say it. We started Sunday night at Madison Square Garden with the comedian at the Trump rally talking about Puerto Rico being a garbage island, essentially. I'm paraphrasing. Trump didn't say it, the comedian did. Then you had Joe Biden with his garbage comment about Trump supporters. Harris didn't say it, but Biden did. So whether it's the candidates themselves, Charity, or their surrogates, I expect the heat to ratchet up each and every day over the next 4 days.
And especially, with it coming down to the wire, both sides are just waiting for the other to commit some kind of gaffe so they can seize on that final messaging and maybe get those that weren't planning to vote to the polls.
Yeah, and you mentioned the surrogates, that are kind of throwing their own darts, and sometimes they don't hit the target at all, and it just gives fuel to the other side. You mentioned the comedian. What about Mark Cuban on The View? Now, he was on The View, so nobody saw it, but other than that, come on. You're supposed to be out there working for your candidate, not firing jabs and causing more rifts.
But I think that's just a demonstrator of where we are as a country. I mean, these, Mark Cuban, these high-profile surrogates, J-Lo and others, Tucker Carlson for Trump, they're as on edge about this outcome as are average Americans, only they have bigger platforms. And I think a lot of people are saying some incendiary things. And if you're a high-profile person, you just have more eyes
on what you're saying.
And in regard to Mark Cuban on The View, the big comment, the big headline there is he claimed that former President Trump is never around any strong and intelligent women. That Trump allegedly finds them intimidating, if you believe Mark Cuban. And it's interesting because Mark Cuban, didn't he sell the Mavs to a female?
Yes, he did.
And that female in turn donated a lot of money to Trump's campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of it doesn't add up.
No, it does not.
All right. Coming up, we'll hear more from you. We're taking your pulse as we move into the final weekend before this election. Don't forget Charlie Parker coming up in the next half hour with Those Were the Days. WOAI News Time, 6:16. Just ahead of headlines, traffic, and weather together. And then you tell us how you will spend your final weekend before the election. Charity McCurdy, what stories are you following?
One day after both candidates were in Arizona and Nevada, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are both scheduled to be at locations in Milwaukee. A new law takes effect for Texas hospitals that required them to ask a patient's citizenship status, and San Antonio City Council remains divided on the phase out of those horse-drawn carriages downtown. Well, the latest right now, traffic and weather.
Cloudy skies today, stray shower, thunderstorm, possible highs and low 80s. Tomorrow, showers in the morning, then cloudy in the afternoon, highs and low to mid 80s. Sunday, a chance to shower or two in the morning, followed by partly cloudy skies in the afternoon, highs in the upper 80s. 69 degrees at the Pearl, 69 at Randolph Air Force Base, and 67 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 6:22.
San Antonio's first news. We are your election central headquarters. Full team coverage of this 2024 election from now until Election Day, Tuesday and beyond. You know, I mentioned all the peeps earlier who are part of our coverage. White House correspondent John Decker, national correspondents Rory O'Neal and Aaron Real, Mike Opelka from the Pure Opelka podcast, Randy Beamer,
yes,
who, oh, by the way, will be with us this morning. It's Fridays with Beamer.
We love Fridays with Beamer.
But he is a big part of our election coverage as well. Randy Beamer, Wednesday, the day after the election, or as we're calling it, the day after. For those of you who saw that TV movie
I did.
back in the mid-'80s.
Disturbing.
Randy Beamer, the day after. He'll be with us next Thursday. And
then, of course, Fridays with Beamer again. Yeah.
And he'll be with us until January 5th when we finally get a winner. So God knows how long it's going to be. Come on, just give us a winner so we can move on and watch football with a clear conscience.
Yeah.
And no political ads. Yeah.
No. Yes.
Yeah, that would be great.
Exactly. An NFL football game without political ads.
That would be awesome.
What a concept.
Awesome.
Charity, you have a question for the people this morning.
Yeah, you know, it's the final weekend of relative calm before election day. So do you have anything special planned? Just because, you know, anxiety is high, there's a lot of fear out there. What are you doing? Anything special? Let us know on the free iHeartRadio app using the Talkback feature.
Like this one.
Good morning, San Antonio's first news. This is Glenn in New Braunfels. Only thing that'll be happening this weekend is going over to Worst Fest, where the only two things on everyone's minds will be, damn, I wish I could play tuba, and wow, they're really charging this much for beer. That'll be our biggest concern. Have a great weekend, guys.
Forgot to mention Worst Charity, that's a great way to spend the weekend.
Amen.
Worst
Yes.
Fest in New Braunfels.
Yes,
Big time.
Yeah, because drinking heavily does help.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't hurt. I don't know if it helps.
I thought he was going to say beer and sausage. Lots
yeah.
of sausage on a stick.
And beer. Yeah.
And,
good times.
you know, young German blondes.
And I wish I could play
handing you
tuba
beer.
too. I wish I could play tuba.
Exactly.
Well, it's, you know, the annual salute to sausage. So it's only right that you go to Worst Fest.
Yes.
It's hard for me to say that. But
Salute
yes.
to sausage all weekend long at Worst Fest.
It's a sausage fest.
It's a
That's what
sausage
they
fest.
should call it.
It's Worst Fest. My goodness gracious. Charity will have a salute to the news coming up at the bottom of the hour. Lots more coming. Charlie Parker with a salute to those were the days as well in the next half hour. WOAI News Time, 625. Sure.
Well, thank you, Lewis.
I'm typing to Charity, telling her we thought salute to sausage was very funny.
It was very funny. Charity strikes again, according to Travis. I love it.
She's on fire today. Wow, Luis, I just saw what Mr. T was reacting to. Thank you, Luis, for the very kind words. Luis Rod.
Can we just call you Louis Rod?
Louis.
Louis.
And Louis hasn't been in as much. I saw him like once this week.
Woo.
Post the video.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, Sammy, a million years ago, in fact, I can give you the year, like 1979, 1980, I was at the Air Force Academy and a Spurs fan. That was pre-internet, but at night,
you could get the
I
games
could listen
big
to
time.
1200 WOAI.
Clear as a bell.
I would be in my dorm room listening to Spurs basketball on WOAI.
No reason to blush, Louis. Luis.
And then the other thing, so I lived in California later than that. As soon as I would get out of LA, when I would drive to San Antonio, I would drive overnight.
Sure.
And,
back when we were young and we could do stuff like that.
Yeah, and what I was so stupid, I'd want to break the record. It's like, last time it's in 22 hours. This time
I'm doing 21.
21 hours. I'm not even going to stop to pee. I'm just going to get a Folgers can so that I can set the record. So I can set this. Such an idiot. But
hey, made good time. I made good time.
I made good time, man. And when I rolled down the window to toss out
that was my dad's thing, was making good time. No matter where we went, it was got to make good time. We go to my grandmother's in Comisneal, Texas, which is East Texas.
Yeah.
And we would leave after he got home from work. So 5:30, we'd hit the road. And, it's a good 6-hour drive, man. And he would always, making good time, my sisters would want to stop. No, I can't. We're making good time. We're making good time. And I'm like, come on, stop, for God's sake.
Enjoy the ride, for God's sake.
Of course, I always had to sit in the back of the station wagon looking where we were coming from, not where we were going.
Yes.
I hated that, man. Although I get bored sometimes and make faces at the cars behind us,
Funny.
Yeah. All right, 40, okay with the Elon Musk thing?
Yes. I'm posting the morning video on X.
On X. I heard it on the X. It was hilarious. Yeah, he had a great game. You are correct, Luis. He did have a great game last night. A 5x5, as the kids call it. All right, here comes Charity McCurdy. Everybody, enjoy.
6:30 is our time. San Antonio's first news. It is Friday. Good morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, the heavy campaigning continues on this last day of early voting in Texas, and a man convicted of attempted capital murder, makes a daring escape. We'll have the details. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your weather forecast for this Friday: cloudy with a stray shower or storm possible, a high in the low 80s. Tonight's low near 72 with rain possible. Right now, 70 degrees. The presidential candidate spent yesterday out west drumming up support going into the campaign's final weekend. Here's more from Fox's Colonel Scott.
Former President Donald Trump strayed from the battlegrounds to rally in New Mexico, saying he's America's hope.
This is all you need to know. Kamala broke it, and I will fix it.
From there, he later rallied in Henderson, Nevada, near Las Vegas, where Vice President Kamala Harris held a Thursday event. Before that, she was in Phoenix to offer political change.
You give me the chance to fight on your behalf as president. There is nothing in the world that will stand in my way.
Common stops mark the next couple of days. Wisconsin today, North Carolina on Saturday. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
And during Trump's Arizona event with Tucker Carlson, he said fellow Republican Liz Cheney wouldn't be such a war hawk if she had guns pointed at her.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
Cheney has been a vocal Trump critic ever since the Capitol riot and has since endorsed Kamala Harris. Today is the last day of early voting in Texas, which has been busy.
On the whole, early voting has gone pretty well. It's been relatively smooth.
Alicia Pierce with the Secretary of State's office says for those who voted by mail, there's a new portal to track where it is. There's a section on the state's website, which is votetexas.gov. Senator John Cornyn says he's obliged to accept the outcome of next week's presidential race. The Texas Republican cast an early ballot at an Austin polling place. Cornyn added that court challenges aren't inappropriate if election irregularities are suspected. He said Americans and Texans aren't enemies of their political opponents. Cornyn isn't up for re-election this year. He said he believes Senator Ted Cruz will win a third term against his Democratic challenger, Colin Allred. Well, Fox News Digital confirms that the White House has sent to the National Archives a different transcript of President Biden's Tuesday evening comment about Trump supporters being garbage than the one that the White House press office originally sent out. Fox Brooke Seaman has more.
Director of White House Stenography Amy Sands reprimanded the White House press office in an email for releasing an altered transcript. She said, quote, please avoid sharing rush drafts, excerpts, which are subject to review and might create confusion among staff, media, and the public, while our stenography office completes a thorough review process. The transcript came under scrutiny after the White House added an apostrophe to the word supporters to indicate that Biden was calling the joke made by a comedian during Trump's Madison Square Garden rally garbage and not his supporters overall. The White House press office has ignored Fox News' request to share the final transcript or confirm if this is the final version. Brooke Singman, Fox News.
President Biden made that comment in response to a comedian at a Trump rally describing Puerto Rico as a floating island of garbage. A new law goes into effect in Texas today that some say has created fear among certain communities. Governor Abbott says he wants to collect data on the cost of caring for undocumented patients. So starting today, state hospitals are required to ask for a patient's citizenship status. Critics are crying foul. Stephen Love, president of the DFW Hospital Council, says in a true emergency, you'll be treated regardless of immigration status or ability to pay.
The one thing hospitals, especially in the emergency department, wants to do is to keep people as calm as possible. They certainly don't want to upset people, by asking their legal status. And we certainly hope it won't deter people from getting care.
Love says some may refuse to answer about their legal status, and that will be recorded. He says hospitals will gather the information and report back to the state by March of next year. A man convicted of attempted capital murder is back in custody after escaping from Bexar County deputies yesterday. Deputies were loading Antoine Foster into a transport vehicle from the county courthouse when he jumped out of the vehicle, slugged a deputy, and ran away. He was recaptured before 6 p.m. Foster was convicted earlier of attempted capital murder of a police officer and sentenced to life behind bars. He'll now be charged with escape, evading on foot, and assaulting a public servant. Well, the Spurs won big last night in Utah with a 106-88 victory over the Jazz. Here's Chris Paul after the win.
Man, hard to get wins in this league. It's a really good win. Everybody stay together, stay locked in. Big time, Vic. Big time from Vic too. And everybody, good win.
Yeah, big time Vic is Victor Wembanyama, and he had the second 5x5 game of his career with 25 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 steals, and 5 blocks. The feat makes him the third player with multiple 5x5 games of all time, joining Hakeem Olajuwon and Andre Kirilenko. And don't forget, clocks go back an hour this Sunday. Daylight saving time ends at 2 a.m. November 3rd and starts again in March of next year. It is 6:37. Traffic and weather together in a minute. But first, check of your money in the world of business as we await that October jobs report. Courtney Donahoe is live at the Bloomberg News Desk. Thanks, Courtney. Remember, your trusted source for timely and in-depth election coverage is WOAI. Count on us to deliver the latest updates on Decision 2024. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news. Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman, Charlie Parker. With those were the days coming up in just a few minutes. In fact, at 6:48, EJ Pacheco doing the heavy lifting solo this morning, flying the Millennium Falcon, managing our YouTube stream, which you can find. Go to YouTube, look for 1200 WOAI. And 4 days out from this Tuesday election, first day of November, and still not a final decision yet, Charity, on Elon Musk and his $1 million giveaway, at least as far as Philadelphia and Pennsylvania District Attorney Larry Krasner is concerned. Apparently, that went to court yesterday. Musk was asked to show up, but he was not there, and they're going to await federal court to make a decision on that case.
Yeah, meanwhile, this pretty much frees up Elon Musk to continue this $1 million giveaway because this is likely not going to be solved until after Tuesday's election. So for those who are eligible to do so in those 7 states, man, I imagine they're signing petitions left and right, a pledge to support free speech and gun rights. But I guess for Democrats, the concern is that ultimately will lead to more votes for former President Trump.
Yeah, it's actually a smooth move on the defense team, our legal team for Elon Musk, who wanted in federal court, because as Charity said, it's not going to make it to federal court in time for this whole thing to be over, because it's going through election day. So the next 4 days, he's going to give away $1 million a day, and they're not going to be able to stop it. Now, my question is, if they rule that it's illegal, do the people that have the $1 million have to give it back? And good luck trying to get that.
Yes. I mean, if I won the $1 million, well, I've put that into banks and I don't know what I did with that money.
What money?
Sorry, can't get that back to you. And then what I keep thinking, if Elon Musk's guy wins back the presidency, Donald Trump, then guess who's in charge of the Justice Department? And just like all of Trump's legal woes, I think this could go away for Elon Musk no matter what, if Trump is elected.
And considering he didn't show up yesterday, I imagine he's not too concerned about it.
No. And look, he could have gotten there if he wanted to be there. I think if it was something important, if it was a Trump rally, he would have made it.
Yes.
So look, I mean, he didn't show up. He didn't show up. What are they going to do?
Well, and there was a great quote from the judge.
I love that.
So the DA who's, behind this suit, Larry Krasner, thought that Musk should have been sanctioned for not showing up like he was instructed to do. And the judge in the case, and I'll mispronounce his last name, forgive me, Judge Angelo Foglietta.
That's almost exactly right.
Anyway, he said, quote, counsel, he's not going to get in a rocket ship and land on the building, end quote. So the judge, being at least reasonable, one of the richest men in the world, Elon Musk, he's kind of busy. He can't just come into this court when you snap your fingers, Larry Krasner, because you're bringing a suit against him.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's a great line, though.
Yeah.
You got to admit it. That's a great line.
It really is.
I look at the calendar, though. Can't believe we're in November. Can't believe it's November 1st, and we are 4 days away from this election. And all the more reason, Charity, that you are suggesting that people find something relaxing this weekend, because it is going to be one tense Tuesday night, even though a lot of people don't believe we're going to get a result Tuesday night or early Wednesday morning, but we might. And we'll be here every step of the way. But no matter what, it's going to be tense. And this tension across the country could go on for several days.
Let's hope not. But yeah, find your zen this weekend.
Ooh, I like that.
It's the final weekend before we, go into uncharted territory. And we just, it's the fear of the unknown. Like I said before, we just don't know what the result will be, when we'll get the result, and how people will react. So live it up this weekend.
Real quick, you think it'll be over by Tuesday? We'll know, like Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, we're going to wake up to a new president.
I hope we do. I don't think it's going to happen. Opelka says could be Saturday when Pennsylvania's votes are counted. So I'm going to go a little more optimistic. I'm going to say Friday.
Charity.
See, I was going to say Friday too, but
That's okay.
I'll say Thursday just to keep it interesting.
Okay, I'll say Saturday.
Okay.
So I'll take the over.
So I'm right in the middle.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yes.
Stuck in the middle with you. Okay.
Again.
Coming up, Charlie Parker with Those Were the Days. Then just before the top of the hour, we will get a weekend preview, see what's going on around the city.
Maybe some ideas for you, something to do to get out and relax.
See, you're tying it all together.
Yeah.
Q1019's Jenny James will have that for us before the top of the hour as well. Lots coming at you. Headlines, traffic, and weather as well. WOAI News Time, 6:45.
And we're back.
San Saba High School. You know who's from San Saba, Texas?
That would be Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee
Chris.
Jones. Do not make eye contact. If you see him around town, do not look down.
Yeah,
and in
look
fact,
away. Look away.
never have your
Look away.
head above his. He must
Yes.
be in a superior position to you. Look down, look away, and you won't be insulted. Or neither you nor your family. Just let him go by. He's very special, that Tommy Lee Jones.
Yes, he is very special. Morning,
And
Eric.
Such a delightful man.
Very much so.
Eric, welcome in. Who are the armadillos? These
That would be San Saba.
Oh, the San Saba armadillos.
Yeah.
So Tommy Lee Jones was once an armadillo.
I think once you're an armadillo, you're always an
Yes.
armadillo.
Ronnie Schultz, the retired head coach of the San Saba Armadillos.
The SS Armadillos.
SS Armadillos.
Herb Hancock.
Herb Hancock, what is up?
Yeah, who met Tommy Lee Jones and had a bad experience. I witnessed a bad experience. Now, Chris got yelled at by him.
Well, I was, Tommy asked to have me thrown out of Koikawa Sushi restaurant because I talk too loud.
True that.
And when the manager would not throw me out of the restaurant, the manager said, he's a paying customer. He's just having a conversation at his table. Tommy abruptly grabbed his food
and left.
I think knocked over a chair on the way out and left. And then turned to give me one final death stare as he walked out the door.
Oh, he remembers you.
Yeah.
See, I just witnessed it at Almas Park Pharmacy. I was there with my daughters, and somebody asked him, he was sitting there, and somebody asked him for an autograph, and he snapped at him, and I told my daughters, that's why you don't walk up to people like that. Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones.
I used a different word, but yeah, he was a jerk.
Yeah.
So later that night, we went and egged his house.
Oh, good. That's a good choice.
Because I lived in Almas Park and he lived down the road, so I knew where he lived. Wonder if he still owns that house.
Good question.
We could go egg it again.
I'd love to egg that house.
And yell the whole time you're doing it.
Yes.
Talk loud. You think I talk loud?
It's that loud guy from Koikawa.
We should throw sushi at his house.
Yes.
That way he'd know it was you. Trevin said he met Tommy Lee Jones's brother, and he was a very nice guy.
Nice. I didn't even know he had a brother.
It was Timmy Lee Jones.
Timmy Lee Jones.
Jimmy Lee. Johnny Lee.
Little known fact. I mean, we know it because we're in News Talk Radio, but Tommy Lee Jones' college roommate, Al Gore.
Yep.
Was that Yale or Harvard?
Harvard.
Yale. Harvard? Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Columbia.
It was one of those.
Where did? And I believe Tommy Lee Jones played football in college. Let me see. He is 78 years old. Born in San Saba, Texas. Harvard University, you are correct. Let me see if I can... Tommy Lee Jones entered Harvard in 1965 on need-based aid. As an upperclassman, he lived in Dunster House and was roommates with future U.S. Vice President Al Gore and with Bob Summerby, who later became editor of the media criticism site The Daily Howler. Jones majored in English literature. He graduated in 1969 with a Bachelor of Arts degree. He did play football. Yeah, he played guard on the Harvard Crimson football team, 65 to 68. He was a member of Harvard's undefeated 1968 football team. Named All Ivy League selection. Had no idea he was that good. Played in the 1968 game that featured a 16-point comeback to tie Yale.
Wow. You know, I'm looking all over the place and I'm not finding Tommy Lee Jones's brother.
Yeah, Trevin, we now think you're just making that up. There is no indication of Timmy Lee Jones anywhere.
You know, we cannot find Timmy Lee Jones.
Personal life. He resides in Terrell Hills, Texas. He speaks Spanish.
Who, Timmy Lee?
Tommy Lee.
Oh, yeah.
He also has a home in Buenos Aires, Argentina. He is an avid San Antonio Spurs fan. He is often seen courtside at Spurs games.
Yelling at the referees.
Yes.
Quit looking at me. So he has two brothers named Carl, Eric?
Man, they're reaching.
I
Daughter
know.
of NFL legend Jim Brown endorses Trump.
That is. I have the candidates schedule for the weekend.
Oh, beautiful.
If you want to still do that at 50.
Yeah.
Since we have no talkbacks.
Okay.
Here comes Charity, everybody.
Just 4 days left until the election, as both Harris and Trump will be in Wisconsin today. City councils approved the city's first female fire chief, and we gain an extra hour this weekend as daylight saving time comes to an end. We'll have more right now, traffic and weather.
Cloudy skies today, straight shower, thunderstorm, possible highs in low 80s. Tomorrow, showers in the morning, then cloudy in the afternoon, highs in the low to mid 80s. Sunday, chances of a shower or two in the morning, followed by partly cloudy skies in the afternoon, highs in the upper 80s. It is 69 degrees in Alamo Ranch, 70 in Lavernia, and 67 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 6:54.
San Antonio's first news. Our thanks to Charlie Parker for those were the days. Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to check in with Jenny James from Q1019, get a weekend preview, some of the cool events, ways you can spend this weekend, the final weekend before Tuesday's election. And Charity, you just reported that both of the candidates will be in Wisconsin today, part of where they'll spend their weekend. What's the over-under on either Donald J. Trump or Kamala Harris, or both of them trying on a cheesehead hat today? Might one of them wear a cheesehead hat in Wisconsin?
I think Trump, if anyone's going to do it, it's Trump. He's been into props lately. He had the garbage vest, worker vest.
It's true.
Kamala, I don't think she wants to mess up her hair.
It's a woman thing.
Yeah.
It's a woman thing.
Well, but Trump doesn't want to mess up his hair. Does he? I mean, he
he just
pays
fixes
attention
it
to
with one swoop, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah,
just
okay.
one handover, and it's
tosses it back.
I wonder who does his hair. I mean, he can't just do that himself, right?
I think it grows like that.
Well, but I mean, when you reach the level of presidency, do you have a hair person?
Oh yeah, no, he has someone give him a little trim up,
Stylist,
and I'm pretty sure he dyes his hair as well.
Hey,
what?
How are you sure that he dyes his
Unfounded.
hair? How dare you?
Unfounded. Start rumors.
He's a
here.
natural blonde
Fake
for
news.
life.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, it happens.
Okay. We don't know for sure.
And speaking of Donald Trump, he's in Milwaukee today, and then on Saturday he's in 3 places in North Carolina.
Ooh.
Yeah, Atlanta for Kamala Harris. She'll be in Atlanta on Saturday, along with Charlotte, North Carolina on Saturday. So they're all busy this weekend, but Donald Trump's making 3 separate stops in North Carolina on Saturday.
We've noticed that. That you look at their agenda, their itinerary, Charity, that the Donald Trump stops seem to be more. If you add them all up each day, it seems like he's going more places than is Kamala Harris. I don't know if that matters, but I've just noticed it.
Yeah, it's at an exhausting pace. And I'm sure everything matters leading up to these final days of the election. I mean, there could be something that is said during one of these rallies that someone watching on TV might be swayed by, and it can get them to the polls in time. But what is amazing to me is that these candidates have not gotten sick. When you consider, the rapid pace and all the different locations, the flying, the shaking hands, kissing babies. I mean, it's amazing that they have been able to maintain their health through all this exhausting campaigning.
Yeah, that's something I didn't even think about that, because you are around the people, and what do people have? Germs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you would go nuts, Chris. You would have a hard time.
I would be
surgical
wearing
gloves.
Hazmat
suit.
And the three of us can relate to this because we work in radio, and when you talk a lot, you could lose your voice. Can you imagine if one of them with 4 days to go lost their voice? I mean, all of us, I know I have. I've lost my voice in radio, and that's nothing worse when you talk for a living. If you lose your voice.
That's why you hear these dramatic pauses and you wait for the applause to die out before they resume speaking because, they're trying to get a break, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, because you think about this, Chris, after 4 hours of doing this in the morning, I don't talk a lot after I get out of here. Yeah, very, just real short sentences. Yeah, so try to get as little, talking as possible.
Yeah.
Is that what you tell Cindy? I can't talk.
Exactly.
I'm trying to preserve the money maker.
Exactly. And let's hurry up and get this out of the way before she wakes up. But yes.
But he's not going to do that anymore, Charity. He's going to get a harmonica.
Yes, I'm getting a harmonica. Yeah, I'm working on this, honey.
And when Cindy says, Tim, we need to talk. Thank you, Rooster, for the tip.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
All right. We got a lot coming at you. Don't forget Randy Beamer in the 8 o'clock hour. It is Fridays with Beamer. We still got Mike Opelka in the next half hour. Coming up on Wait Till You Hear This at 7:10. We'll hear from both candidates in Phoenix yesterday, Donald J. Trump and Kamala Harris. But right now, what are you doing this weekend? We got some ideas for you. Here's Jenny James from Q1019.
Check out Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse live in concert at the Majestic Theater tonight. You can also see Coco for free at the Rocket La Cantera and celebrate Dia de los Muertos at the Esperanza Peace and Justice Center. Tomorrow is the 16th annual Diwali San Antonio celebration at Hemisphere, the More Than Pink Walk, starting at Methodist Hospital. Mark Anthony's Historia Tour at the Moody Center in Austin. You can choose where to spend Dia de los Muertos. Celebrate at the Mission Marquee Plaza or at the Pearl. San Antonio is giving away free trees this weekend for Texas Arbor Day at the Mission Marquee Plaza starting at 9 a.m. Celebrate the release of Razoo in the Wetlands at Mitchell Lake Audubon Center. The author and illustrator will be on hand to sign your book. And the UTSA Roadrunners are taking on Memphis at home at 11 o'clock. On Sunday, all Texas state parks are free. The Texas Bridal and Wedding Expo is at the Freeman Expo Hall, and Pink is live at the Moody Center in Austin. It's going to be a great weekend. I'm Jenny James from Q1019 for News Radio 1200 WOAI.
7 o'clock is our time. San Antonio's first news. It is Friday. Good morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, just 4 days left until the election and a big win for the Spurs on the road. We'll have details first, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your weather forecast for this first day of November: cloudy, a stray shower or storm possible, a high in the low 80s. Tonight's low near 72 with rain possible. Right now, 68 degrees. Former President Trump held a rally in Albuquerque, New Mexico, calling on his supporters to go out and vote. He also spent time attacking Vice President Kamala Harris for her calls for unity in her closing argument speech, despite her recently referring to the former president as a fascist.
You know, she talks about unity. Oh, unity, unity. Oh, yeah, unity. By the way, he's like Hitler. He reminds me of Hitler. He's a fascist. She's talking about we're going to have unity. And then she calls me a fascist in the next sentence. This is the worst unifier.
And this rally came the same day Vice President Kamala Harris is also campaigning in the Southwest, making stops in Arizona and Nevada. In Las Vegas, Harris highlighted Trump's role in reversing Roe v. Wade, leading to abortion bans in 21 states.
When Donald Trump was president, he hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. They did as he intended. And now in America, 1 in 3 women lives in a state with a Trump abortion ban.
Abortion remains one of the top 3 issues for voters during this election. Well, the White House reportedly altered the transcript of President Biden's controversial garbage comment, despite the concerns of stenographers. The transcript dispute stems from a virtual Harris campaign call Biden participated in on Tuesday with Voto Latino, in which he attempted to criticize a comedian's comment at Trump's Madison Square Garden rally that called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. In the Zoom call, Biden seemingly called Trump supporters garbage. Well, the opportunities to vote for president are quickly closing. Rex Oates reports.
Today is the last day of early voting in Texas, which has been busy. Alicia Pierce with the Secretary of State's office says so far about 7 million people have cast a ballot.
And when you look at early voting in person and then early voting by mail, we already have about 40% of registered voters who've cast a ballot.
For those who voted by mail, there is a new portal to track the envelope. It's on the state's website, which is votetexas.gov. Voters still have time to correct any mistakes. Next up is Election Day, which is on Tuesday. Those lines should be long too. I'm Rex Oates, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
Well, San Antonio City Council's divided over a recommendation plan to get rid of those horse-drawn carriages downtown. Councilman Manny Pelaez says it's time for this industry to end.
Our tourism brand is an admired and trusted brand, and horse deaths or horse collapses would do incalculable damage.
The Transportation and Infrastructure Committee voted unanimously in August for city staff to come up with options for phasing out the popular carriages within 1 to 3 years. The ban would wipe out 5 small businesses and 81 jobs. A vote may happen in December. Well, a new era is beginning at the San Antonio Fire Department as Assistant Chief Valerie Frosto became the city's first female fire chief. Eric Lycum has more.
Of the United States.
Of the United States.
And of this state.
And of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
That's Valerie Frausto taking the oath of office as a fire chief by unanimous approval of San Antonio City Council. The 51-year-old San Antonio native has been with the department for a quarter of a century and has worked in every aspect of it. Not only did she beat out dozens of competitors nationwide, she withstood disparaging remarks about women from her former boss, as well as an effort to oust her from the running by the union.
It never even crossed my mind. I always have a positive attitude, and I just continue to move forward.
She vows to improve communications, transparency, training, and resources for her 1,800 firefighters, about 100 of whom are women. Eric Lycum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
A new law goes into effect for Texas hospitals. Governor Abbott says he wants to collect data on the cost of caring for undocumented patients. So starting today, state hospitals are required to ask for a patient's citizenship status. Some may refuse to answer about their legal status, and that will be recorded, but they'll still be treated. Hospitals will gather the information and report back to the state by March of next year. Well, clocks go back 1 hour this Sunday. Brian Shook has details.
Daylight saving time ends at 2 a.m. November 3rd and starts again in March of next year. That means an extra hour of sleep. Only Hawaii and Arizona don't observe daylight saving time. There have been proposed bills that would end the time change every year and make daylight saving time permanent. I'm Brian Shook.
It is 7:06. The Spurs scored a win on the road against the Jazz. The voice of the Spurs, Bill Schoening, has details in today's Spurs Insider, brought to you by Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino. Thanks, Bill. Today's Spurs Insider brought to you by Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino. Remember, your trusted source for timely and in-depth election coverage is WOAI. Count on us to deliver the latest updates on Decision 2024. I'm Charity McCurdy. Traffic and weather coming up.
San Antonio's first news, big 7 o'clock hour. Coming up, Mike Opelka from the Pure Opelka podcast at 7:20. His thoughts on the morning's big stories. 7:40, we go deep into the 2024 election with national correspondent Rory O'Neal. Why the polls may be wrong. He'll tell us about that. Then at 7:50, from the campaign trail, White House correspondent John Decker. We are your election central coverage. And coming up on a segment we call Wait Till You Hear This, we'll hear from each presidential candidate as they were both in Phoenix, Arizona yesterday. But first, your traffic and weather together.
Cloudy skies, stray shower, thunderstorm possible, highs low 80s. Tomorrow, showers in the morning, cloudy in the afternoon, highs and low to mid 80s. Then on Sunday, a chance of a shower or two in the morning, followed by partly cloudy skies in the afternoon, highs in the upper 80s. It is 69 degrees at Fort Sam, Houston, 70 in China Grove, and 68 here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 7:11.
San Antonio's first news. That's Mr. T. She's Charity McCurdy. Our thanks to Charlie Parker for those were the days. Randy Beamer going to be joining us a Friday with Beamer coming up in the 8 o'clock hour or before if Randy decides that Charity needs even more assistance from his therapy services.
He's listening.
He's listening and taking notes, I do believe. And Charity, it's all going into your permanent record.
Oh, okay.
Just saying. Coming up on a segment we call Wait Till You Hear This. We'll go to Phoenix, Arizona, where both candidates were. We'll hear from both of them. But first, did I do traffic?
Yeah, we already did that.
I already did
so it's
traffic.
time to hear from both the
I'm getting
candidates
so
now.
excited.
I know.
I'm so excited about Randy Beamer.
Look, every time we bring his name up, it throws us off. It throws us off topic.
And I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it. Let's go to Phoenix for crying out loud. First, we'll hear from Kamala Harris in Phoenix, then former President Trump in Phoenix. Here it is.
I will give a middle-class tax cut to over 100 million Americans. I will enact the first ever federal ban on corporate price gouging on groceries. I will fight to make sure that hardworking Americans can actually afford a place to live. And if you are caring for an elderly parent, look, I took care of my mother when she was sick. If you are taking care of an elderly parent, I understand what you are experiencing, and my plan will cover the cost of care under Medicare for the seniors in your life who need help and support.
For the first time, I never said it to anybody. I never really thought about it that much. But all of a sudden, it was down to like maybe 10 or 8 or 9 days, a few days ago, right? I said, in 10 days, this will never happen again because I'm not running again. And you're going to lose interest. We're going to meet, but we're going to meet on a different basis. We're going to meet on the basis of fixing our country. And we'll meet, but it'll be different than having rallies and having, things where you have elections and all. It's never going to be what we've done together. We got to win, first of all, but we are leading. Just keep the cheating down. The only thing can stop us is the cheating. It's the only thing that can stop us. If we win, it's the biggest event in political history. It's the biggest event in political history. And there's something, and it's going to be the most important. I believe that the next election is the most important election in the history of the country. I really believe that. The one that's coming up in 4 days.
Former President Donald Trump in Phoenix. Before that, Vice President Kamala Harris in Phoenix. And I saw an interesting stat yesterday. The length of Donald Trump's speeches at rallies in 2016, on average, 40 minutes. He spoke for 40 minutes. Average in 2024, 80 minutes.
Wow.
He is doubling the time he's there. He's enjoying being in front of the microphone.
He does. He feeds off the energy of the crowd, and he often goes off script, which are usually some of the moments that are highlighted the following morning. But I think that's just an area of strength for the former president compared to VP Kamala Harris.
Yeah, you mentioned he's doing 80 minutes instead of 40 minutes, and we talked about this earlier. It looks like he's doubling up on tour stops, so to speak.
Yeah.
To Kamala Harris because he's doing twice as many, it seems.
Yeah, all the more remarkable because he is at the moment the oldest candidate to run for president. He's older now than Biden was 4 years ago when he ran. And he's got all this energy. It is unbelievable. Coming up, Mike Opelka from the Pure Opelka podcast. Before that, We'll get you caught up on headlines, traffic, and weather. WOAI News Time 7:15.
And we're back.
So we need to be prepared. I guess we just riff on the election.
Yeah.
You can give us the Vegas thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got that ready to go just in case.
And do you want to tell EJ, or I can tell him to find out if he needs a hard out at 25?
Well, if he calls, I can ask him, but yeah, you might want to tell him.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, on election day, too, here's something else we can do if he doesn't show. Krispy Kreme giving out free donuts on election day. All you got to do is show up.
Vegas and Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, you
Very
don't,
good.
You don't need an I voted sticker at Krispy Kreme. You just show up and they'll give you a free donut. But he would have told me if he wasn't going to be here today. He told me he was back today. So I have a feeling it's going to be one of those we have until 25.
Okay.
I'll get it.
That's just me relaying to her what you just said.
It's funny, I just did a new spot this morning for these guys. Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh, look, Kaylee McEnady's wearing, yeah.
Could be a little shorter, though.
Where's Carly? I haven't seen her today.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't think she's working today.
Yeah, longer than Ainsley's. I'm not
Yeah.
impressed.
Yeah.
Unless she really pulls it back when she sits down.
She hikes it up and shows she's wearing crotchless panties, and
Yeah,
she's
then
okay.
I'm-
Then she's okay.
Give a little
Then that's
Sharon
all right
Stone-
then.
Give me a little Sharon Stone action.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Chris.
Yes.
Stand by.
Just ahead of headlines, traffic, and weather together, then Mike Opelka from the Pure Opelka podcast. First, Charity, what stories are you following?
Well, dueling presidential campaign events are taking place in Wisconsin today with a final countdown to Election Day underway. A man convicted of attempted capital murder made a daring escape only to be recaptured, and clocks go back 1 hour this weekend. We'll have details right now, traffic and weather.
Cloudy skies today, straight shower, thunderstorm possible, highs in the low 80s. It is 68 degrees here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 720. You hear that music, you know it's time for our daily visit with Mike Opelka from the Pure Opelka podcast. Mike, first things first, Friday, Luya to ya.
Oh, man, Friday, Luya to you and yours. And this is the last weekend we'll have to endure election commercials. Thank you, Jesus.
And Mike, I got to ask you, there's accusations of funny business going on with White House press office staffers apparently changing the transcript of President Biden's garbage remark about Trump supporters. And apparently it all comes down to punctuation.
Well, yeah, and the White House staff did do that. There's no real question about it, Charity. The archivists are furious because this is a legal record, and it was changed from the actual stenographer's version to the White House staff version. And the White House is resisting giving out any copies of all that. This could be actually a legal question that would be another embarrassment to the Biden administration. But yeah, they changed it, and it's not right.
And Mike, we know Donald Trump is no big fan of CBS News, but it gets a little more serious now. He files a hefty lawsuit against them.
Chris, I'm going to be talking with a prosecutor about this to see if there's any chance that there's traction on this suit. What Trump has done in filing a $10 billion suit against CBS News and 60 Minutes for essentially changing the answer to a question from Kamala Harris and then broadcasting it as if it were the actual answer she gave. And is that election interference? It certainly feels very suspect to me. And I wonder if Trump has standing here. He certainly should, in my opinion, but I'm not a lawyer. And will CBS want to even fight this, or will they settle? We'll see. Donald Trump has often said he really thinks the DNC owes him $150 million too, because they did the okie doke with putting Biden up and then pulling him out and making him run against Harris. And he had spent $150 million up to that point. So this may be the first of a couple of lawsuits from Mr. Trump.
And you mentioned this is the last weekend before Election Day. So should we all head to Vegas to Crazy Horse 3 Gentlemen's Club because they got dances for democracy?
Well, you got to give these guys credit for this.
It's great.
This is a brilliant move. You vote, you show up after noon. They're giving a free lap dance to anybody who's got the I voted sticker. Of course, you know me. I'm taking a roll of I voted stickers for Sunlight. We'll find a way to make some money on this.
There you go.
Here's the problem. It's the old bait and switch. The first dance is free.
Exactly.
You pay for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's really interesting marketing. I'm not a Vegas fan. I got to give these guys credit. Well done.
And Mark Cuban made the headlines on The View for saying Donald Trump is never around any strong and intelligent women. And apparently there's a long list of women he offended in the process.
Yeah, there's going to be a telethon, a marathon of women standing up, starting with Melania, Ivanka, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Kellyanne Conway. I mean, this is Kayleigh McEnany. This will go on for a week and a half if you just give him 2 minutes. I think they're going to pull Cuban back. He's going to be hanging. He's going to be Joe Biden's keeper for the rest of the campaign. He's going to have to be Joe Biden's ice cream scooper. He won't be allowed in front of cameras.
And finally, Mike, we're asking our listeners today. It's the final weekend before the big election. How are you going to spend the weekend, Mike? Are you going to kick back and chill, or are you going to be locked in on the election?
I really can't do anything more. I voted. I'm going to play golf. And then I'm going to listen to everything my wife wants me to do and get it done.
What a good man.
Always a good idea. You can get more Mike Opelka from the Pure Opelka podcast. Get it wherever you get your podcast. We recommend the free iHeartRadio app. Mike is brought to us by Randy Adams Incorporated. Coming up, a deeper dive into the polling numbers with national correspondent Rory O'Neal at 7:40. And at 7:50, White House correspondent John Decker from the campaign trail. WOAI News Time, 7:25.
And we're back.
Woohoo!
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, 0 talkbacks.
Oh, well.
I know. Well, we don't have any time to play them anymore anyway, so
yeah,
not that big a deal.
Still nothing from Randy.
No, I got to go give him Randy's number just in case.
Okay.
But I'll do that as soon as we go to charity.
I mean, I guess I'll send Randy I guess I'll send him a text here in a minute saying that we'll call him at 8:10 if we don't see him.
Yeah, Mag, that's okay because we weren't actually on the air, so we can do whatever we want on the stream. So thank you, though.
Thank you, Mag.
Oh, Eric's going to be at the Alamo City Harley doing portraits from 10 to 4 tomorrow. So if we can mention that, that would be great.
Very cool, Eric.
We'll give you a mention, Eric.
Absolutely, man.
He'll be upstairs if you're looking for him.
Okay.
So
if I forget upstairs, tag
I got
that.
it. I got it. Alamo City Harley from 10 to 4. I'll write it down so we have it right in front of us. Because he does such good work, man. It'd be nice to get some people out there. 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Cool.
I-35 and we at Weidner.
Weidner, yes. Yes.
Way to go, Eric.
Now, quick question for you, Eric. When you're out at the Harley dealerships doing these veterans portraits, do a lot of them come in with, biker garb on, or do they come in just regular stuff? Just curious. Not that it makes a difference. I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
Since you are at a Harley dealership, does it work out like that?
In some of the photos, it does look like I see some.
Yeah, that's why I was asking.
Alamo City Harley Davidson.
I got it written down too.
Okay.
So if we need it, I got it.
Yeah, let's do it.
It'd be something to do before headlines. You know what I mean?
Yes. Try to remind me if I forget.
I will, Chris. I will try to remind you. At least he's wearing a red shirt.
Is it though? It says isn't Miami orange? I mean, it looks red.
See, but here's the thing, in the NBA nowadays, they can be purple. True. They have all these different uniforms.
You're right.
So, yeah.
Yep. See, when I was thinking it was Miami Hurricanes. That's why I.
Oh, okay. See, I'm going Miami.
You're right.
I'm going Miami Heat. Yeah.
He's an NBA fan. It's going to be Miami Heat.
Mike Kapelka, everybody. He just let me know that, yes, he will be on today. And then he's laughing about it.
Right?
That's right. I have to do it that way.
You do.
They won't let me change it.
Giving you
they
crap.
will not let me change it. I wish they would, because I could make it a lot easier. He'll be in Victoria next weekend at the Mobile Vietnam Memorial Wall.
Wow.
Veterans Day.
I've been to, as you have, I've seen the real Vietnam War Memorial in DC, but I've heard, and I've not seen
heard this one's really
the
cool.
mobile wall.
Yeah.
I hear it's moving as well. It must be.
I want to see it.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. If they would come to
San Antonio,
we would certainly promote
right
it
out here in our parking lot.
That would be huge.
It would be perfect.
That would be nice.
It would be awesome. Where's my suspenders?
And let me screw up the microphones.
Yeah. Next time I do the garden show, I got some suspenders. I'm going to wear them.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm going to wear them with shorts or something like that.
Funny.
Cool. Thanks, Eric.
Michael Board with the news.
You want to offer him a taco?
We could.
Yes. Hey, here comes Charity, everybody.
7:30 is our time. San Antonio's first news. It is Friday. Good morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, the heavy campaigning continues on this last day of early voting in Texas, and a man convicted of attempted capital murder makes a daring escape. We'll have details. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your weather forecast for this Friday: cloudy with a stray shower or storm possible, a high in the low 80s. Tonight's low near 72 with rain possible. Right now, 69 degrees. The presidential candidate spent yesterday out west drumming up support going into the campaign's final weekend. Here's more from Fox's Gernal Scott.
Former President Donald Trump strayed from the battlegrounds to rally in New Mexico, saying he's America's hope.
This is all you need to know. Kamala broke it, and I will fix it.
From there, he later rallied in Henderson, Nevada, near Las Vegas, where Vice President Kamala Harris held a Thursday event. Before that, she was in Phoenix to offer political change.
You give me the chance to fight on your behalf as president. There is nothing in the world that will stand in my way.
Common stops mark the next couple of days. Wisconsin today, North Carolina on Saturday. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
And today is the last day of early voting in Texas, which has been busy.
On the whole, early voting has gone pretty well. It's been relatively smooth.
Alicia Pierce with the Secretary of State's office says for those who voted by mail, there's a new portal to track where it is. There's a section on the state's website, which is votetexas.gov. Next up is Election Day, which is Tuesday. Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban says he's sorry for comments he made on ABC's The View about the women who have worked with former President Trump. Here's Fox's Brooks Singman.
A top surrogate for Vice President Kamala Harris, billionaire Mark Cuban, is getting major criticism after saying former President Trump does not surround himself with intelligent women.
It's just that simple. They're intimidating to him.
Cuban walking back on his remarks, saying, "One, I know many strong, intelligent women voting for Trump, including in my extended family. I'm certainly not saying female voters are not smart, strong, and intelligent. Two, I know he has worked with strong, intelligent women like Elaine Chao, Kellyanne, Ivanka, and many others." Former President Trump now blasting Cuban and defending the women around him, saying he surrounds himself with the strongest of women. Brooke Singman, Fox News.
A new law goes into effect in Texas today that some say has created fear among certain communities. Governor Abbott says he wants to collect data on the cost of caring for undocumented patients. So starting today, state hospitals are required to ask for a patient's citizenship status. Critics are crying foul. Stephen Love, president of the DFW Hospital Council, says in a true emergency, you will be treated regardless of immigration status or ability to pay.
The one thing hospitals, especially in the emergency department, wants to do is to keep people as calm as possible. They certainly don't want to upset people, by asking their legal status. And we certainly hope it won't deter people from getting care.
Well, so some may refuse to answer about their legal status, and that will be recorded. He says hospitals will gather the information and report back to the state by March of next year. A man convicted of an attempted capital murder of a police officer in Bexar County can now add an attempted escape to his rap sheet. Eric Lycom reports.
2 life sentences in prison were handed down to 31-year-old Antoine Foster for shooting at San Antonio cops during a July 2020 domestic violence incident. Shortly afterwards, Bexar County deputies were loading him onto a prison bus when Foster jumped out, slugged the deputy, and took off on foot towards downtown. He was recaptured without incident just before 6 p.m. Foster is now charged with escape and evading on foot, as well as assault of a police officer, on top of his attempted capital murder convictions. Eric Lycum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
San Antonio's new fire chief takes office today following the city council's unanimous approval yesterday. Council members voted 11-0 to confirm the appointment of Valerie Frosto as the chief of the San Antonio Fire Department. Frosto joined the department back in 2000 and has served as a firefighter, paramedic, fire marshal, and interim deputy chief. More than 100 of San Antonio's 1,800 firefighters are women, but Frosto is the first one to rise to the rank of chief. The New York Jets beat the Houston Texans in their Halloween matchup last night. Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers connected with wide receiver Garrett Wilson for 2 touchdown passes, including this one-handed effort by Wilson early in the fourth.
4-man rush. Rodgers to the end zone. And Wilson, can he one-handed and stay in bounds? They say he was out.
That sound courtesy of Amazon Prime. The call was overturned and ruled a touchdown to put the Jets ahead of the Texans 14-10. The Texans fall to 6-3 on the season and will host the Detroit Lions Sunday, November 10th. And clocks will go back 1 hour this Sunday. Daylight saving time ends at 2 a.m. November 3rd and starts again in March of next year. And that means an extra hour of sleep should you choose to use it that way. Only Hawaii and Arizona don't observe. Well, Forbes is out with its list of the highest paid dead celebrities of 2024, and the new list shows how much money celebrities are making this year, even though they've passed on. Here's Michael Kastner.
You will do anything for money. Anything for money. Michael Jackson tops the list after making $600 million this year from the Michael Jackson musical that's been touring all over the world. Freddie Mercury comes in at number 2, having made $250 million this year. Number 3 is Dr. Seuss, who made $75 million in 2024. Rounding out the top 5 are Elvis Presley, who made another $50 million this year, and Rick Ocasek, songwriter for The Cars, who made $45 million. I'm Michael Kastner.
It is 7:37. Traffic and weather together in a minute, but first, a check of your money in the world of business as the October jobs report has just been released. Courtney Donahoe has the details live at the Bloomberg News Desk. Thanks, Courtney. Remember, your trusted source for timely and in-depth election coverage is WOAI. Count on us to deliver the latest updates on Decision 2024. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news. We are your election 2024 headquarters. Coming up at 7:50, White House correspondent and attorney John Decker from the campaign trail. Randy Beamer in studio at 8 o'clock, Fridays with Beamer. But right now, let's check in with national correspondent Rory O'Neal. Rory, you have been paying close attention to the polling numbers, and now even some of the pollsters are saying those numbers could be wrong.
Well, right. And they're also saying, read them more carefully. Don't just go off that top headline that says Harris is up 0.5 in Michigan and Trump is leading in Pennsylvania, or vice versa. It seems like we're getting conflicting polling information all the time. Just understand that these polls have a margin of error. Look for that number. And then when you see just how close the elections are in these states, I mean, even if the poll is off by 1%, which would be remarkably accurate, it still could swing the vote the other way.
Rory, how have pollsters fixed the problems of the past, which were exposed in 2016 and 2020? Are they using different data sources and interview approaches?
They're trying to fix the problems of the past. You know, the 2020 presidential polling, they say, was the most inaccurate in 40 years. On the national polling, by the way, if you go back to 2016, they actually got it pretty right in terms of Hillary Clinton winning the national vote. But that's not how we do elections in this country, which is how you got President Trump. So these polls have to be read very carefully. And they found phenomena like the shy voter theory, suggesting Trump supporters are not always truthful about their voting plans, or the unified theory that explains how Trump voters tend to ignore surveys and why the presidential polling for him has always undercounted. So they're trying to make these adjustments, but this is where the art and science of polling come together.
Now, are exit polls more accurate than the ones that we're hearing right now?
They should be. Again, we depend on people to be more truthful, but yes, so some of the exit polling should be more accurate. Well, look, you've got a whole Harris campaign underway now about this idea of women lying to their husbands about who they're voting for. Julia Roberts voicing the commercial. I don't know if you've seen it yet. Sort of women with their husbands wearing sort of MAGA gear, but voting for Harris with a wink and a nod to each other and saying, yes, honey, I voted for Donald Trump. So they're trying to fuel this phenomenon, which is something new, but we can't be surprised about this election anymore, can we?
No. We're about to find out which way it goes. We're just 4 days away from the election. He's a big part of our coverage, national correspondent Rory O'Neal. Another guy, big part of our coverage, White House correspondent and attorney John Decker. He joins us next. WOAI News Time, 7:43.
And we're back.
We should be quite early, getting out at 43.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Because that gives us time to pump up Eric's thing before you throw it to her.
Here too.
Okay?
Okay. And I'll throw to you for that.
Sure. Look for him upstairs in the VIP room. And if you have your I voted sticker, Eric will give you a lap dance. Is that? Oh, wait, I'm getting it confused with the stripper. I'm sorry, Eric. I'll fix it. What's up, Tommy Miller? How you doing?
Tommy Lee Miller.
Tommy Lee Miller. Uh-oh.
Like Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, but I get worried when people have three names. They usually end up turning into serial killers down the road. Henry Lee Lucas, John Wayne Gacy.
Yes.
You see where I'm going with this?
I see where you're going. I'm going to try to let her know that we're going to do this ahead of headlines and traffic.
Well, we'll have over 2 minutes, so we'll be good.
Okay.
We got time, yo. We got time, yo.
That's tomorrow?
Yes. 10 to 4.
Okay, but I'll have you. I'm just got the text letting her know.
Gentlemen, ladies. Woo! I'll get it. If you're a veteran, listen up.
Yes. Big news for veterans
coming
coming right
veterans,
up.
If you have a family member who's a veteran, listen up. We're gonna lay some knowledge on you, yo. As the kids say, right? Is that how the kids say it? Lay some knowledge on you.
I'm gonna lay some knowledge on you, yo.
That's how kids do it, right?
I think that is.
That's what I've heard from the streets, man.
And who was the guy in Breaking Bad? The kid, like that?
Aaron Paul.
Yeah.
Jesse Pinkman.
Jesse Pinkman. God, that was such a great show.
It was a damn good show.
And I was late to it, so I binge watched it.
I did too.
Every night for like.
I got
4
it better.
months.
I had my kidney taken out, and I got home, and I had nothing to do for like 10 weeks, man. I mean, I was laid up.
Yeah.
I watched it from beginning to end in like 2 weeks.
Same. I had a similar experience.
Yeah, Cindy would leave to go to work. I'd be on the couch, and I'd start one.
Yeah.
She'd come home, and I'd still be watching it. Of course, I'd had a nap in there,
Right.
a nap or two, and gone for walks in between. But yeah, she goes, "Is that all you've been doing?" And I'd always joke with her, "Yeah, it's these pain pills, baby. I can't move, man."
Herb, to answer your question, Andrew Zimmel's not here. He does the switching, the camera switching. EJ doesn't do that.
We're just glad he got us on.
Yeah, we're glad he got us on the air. So
So
once
we're not-
Andrew
yeah.
comes back, either Monday or Tuesday,
Or Wednesday or Thursday, whenever he comes back.
you'll
yeah.
get your charity fix back. So our apologies. We will give you the Randy Beamer eye candy.
Yes.
I'm going to point a camera at Randy Beamer once he gets in here.
Yeah, it's not the same, but it is close. Look, you love coming home to.
No, he didn't say the catchphrase.
Yep. Stand by, Chris.
Okay. We are moments away from White House correspondent John Decker as we move into this final weekend before the election. First, though, Mr. T and Charity, our good friend Eric Bowden, who was at OpelkaCon, he takes these amazing portraits of veterans. If there's any veterans listening, or if there's a veteran in your life, Mr. T, you've got the details. He's doing it this weekend.
Yeah, tomorrow at Alamo City Harley Davidson. That is 35 in Weidner from 10 to 4 p.m. So 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you're looking for him, go upstairs. That's where he will be.
And Eric Bowden is an incredible guy, and you can tell he has so much passion for what he does, and just the reaction from veterans who are having their picture taken and seeing his incredible work is just truly breathtaking. It's amazing what he's doing and continues to do for so many in Military City, USA.
Yeah. And we can't tell you got to see these portraits to fully appreciate how beautiful they are. They are going to become family heirlooms for veterans' families. So you got to go do, if you're a veteran or you know one, get them out there.
Alamo City Harley Davidson, 10 to 4 tomorrow. He will be upstairs. Find him.
Yeah, go find him upstairs. You'll be glad you did. Charity, what stories are you working on?
Today is the last day of early voting in Texas, with the polls open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The White House reportedly altered the transcript of President Biden's controversial garbage comment, and San Antonio is making history with its new fire chief. We'll have the details right now, traffic and weather.
By the way, if you're headed out to Alamo City Harley Davidson tomorrow from 10 to 4 to get your vet picture taken, it's absolutely free. We forgot to tell you that. Today, cloudy, a straight shower, thunderstorm, possible highs in the low 80s. Tomorrow, showers in the morning, then cloudy in the afternoon, highs in low to mid 80s. And then on Sunday, chance of a shower or two in the morning, then partly cloudy skies in the afternoon, highs in the upper 80s. It is 68 degrees in New Braunfels, Texas, 69 in Leon Valley, 68 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 7:51.
San Antonio's first news. That's Mr. T, Tim Merriman. She's Charity McCurdy. Randy Beamer on his way into the studio. We always look forward to that. Fridays with Beamer is what we like to call it. Our thanks to Charlie Parker. For those were the days. I'm Chris Duell. Coming up, we're expecting to connect with White House correspondent and attorney John Decker. In fact, he is calling in right now, and we will go to him right now. John Decker, can't believe we are just 4 days away from this election. Where are the candidates headed this weekend to do their final pitch?
Well, they're heading to all the battleground states. Yesterday, it was out west. As you know, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris out in Arizona, Nevada. Donald Trump making a side trip as well to New Mexico. I don't think New Mexico is going to turn from blue to red, but that's where he was yesterday. And then over the course of the next few days leading up to Tuesday, they'll be hitting all of the battleground states that remain: Georgia, North Carolina, Michigan, Wisconsin, and of course, Pennsylvania. In fact, the vice president will have 2 campaign rallies in Pennsylvania on Monday, one in the eastern part of the state in Philadelphia, one in the western part of the state out in Pittsburgh. And Donald Trump also trying to rev up and energize his base with just days to go until Election Day.
John, as you know, Donald Trump has perfected the art of being spontaneous, and he doesn't shy away from trolling his opponent. Do you think that poses a challenge to Kamala Harris as she risks her message going stale in these final critical days?
No, I think, at this point, it's just repetition more than anything for Trump and Harris, trying not to make any gaffes. They can be exploited to a certain extent by either Harris or Donald Trump, depending upon who's making those gaffes. Certainly his comments regarding Liz Cheney making some news today. When you're talking about a gender gap that we know exists in this election cycle, that is not a good way to close that gender gap if you're Donald Trump. And so, just these miscues that could potentially be damaging to his campaign. And, we'll see if there's lasting effect from Joe Biden's remarks that he made earlier this week, whether that has any lasting damage on Kamala Harris's campaign.
Now, John, with both candidates, making this final push, they've got a very, very heavy schedule, both of them. When are they going to take a break? After the election, or will it be after the election is finally certified?
Well, you're optimistic. I like that about you. You are an optimistic person. And I say that simply because, we think that Election Day is Tuesday. It is. It's going to come and go, but it doesn't necessarily mean we'll know who the winner is after Tuesday. That's what I'm referring to. And so, yeah, they'd love to rest. They would love to take a break and, go on a 3-week vacation. But I don't think they'll have time immediately after Election Day if the results are unclear or unknown in a number of these key swing states.
And speaking of that, John, Pennsylvania, as you know, can't start counting even absentee ballots until election night. I've heard one person tell us Pennsylvania might not have that vote total until Saturday. What is, from your perspective, when do you think we will hear the final tally of electoral votes?
Well, that's a great question. We know what happened last election cycle. It was Saturday after the Tuesday election that Joe Biden was declared the victor by all of the networks, AP included. And that's my expectation, that we could wait until Saturday of next week before we learn definitively who won the White House. But then let's not forget what happened in the last election cycle. There was a litigation that happened over the course of weeks leading up to the vote being certified officially on December the 16th. And also, let's not forget what happened on January 6th of last year. There are a number of guardrails in place to prevent the types of things that we saw happen in the last election cycle. That being said, nothing surprises me at this point, and nothing would surprise me at this point. I think in a perfect world, we know midnight Pacific time on Tuesday who the winner is, who our next president is going to be. But we don't live in a perfect world. That's why I am expecting a few days before we know definitively who the next president will be.
And John, based on the record early voting turnout numbers we've seen, do you feel there's many undecided voters out there at this point, or is the focus on those that were maybe planning on sitting this one out?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. And that's the reason why it's a great question. It's the reason why Donald Trump and Kamala Harris have many parts of their closing message. One is to energize their base. One is to reach out to those undecided voters, the voters on the fence. And, one is certainly trying to reach out to voters who may be thinking of sitting this one out or not casting their ballot as it relates to the names at the top of the ticket, just simply voting for Senate, voting for Congress, voting for mayor, that type of thing. So that's what you're going to hear from Harris and Trump as they crisscross all of these swing states with just a few days to go until November the 5th.
Now, John, like us, you've been all over this election for months and months and months, almost a year. What are your plans for this weekend? Are you going to relax a little bit? Are you going to get out on the campaign trail, follow the candidates around? What are you doing?
Yeah, good question. I'm not going out on the campaign trail. I've been to each and every one of the swing states at some point over the course of the past few months. And it's been fascinating because, it's a different feel in each and every one of those states. But no, it's the calm before the storm here in Washington, D.C. So I'm going to take it easy this weekend, knowing full well that on Tuesday night, I'll be with Vice President Harris here in Washington, D.C. as she watches the returns come in. Donald Trump, of course, on Tuesday night will be at his home in Florida watching the returns come in, and we'll see what happens. But it's going to be, to me, a very historic and monumental and consequential election. They all are. This one maybe more so than others. And I can't wait. I get really excited for this.
And he is often a witness to history before his very eyes. It'll be that way next week as well. We look forward to his coverage. White House correspondent and attorney John Decker. Coming up, Randy Beamer, Fridays with Beamer. He'll be in studio next. WOAI News Time, 7:58.
8:01 is our time. San Antonio's first news. It's Friday. Good morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, just 4 days left until Election Day, and San Antonio has a new fire chief. We'll have details, first traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your weather forecast for this Friday: cloudy, a stray shower or storm possible, a high in the low 80s. Tonight's low near 72 with rain possible. Get a move on. It is 69 degrees. Former President Trump held a rally in Albuquerque, New Mexico, calling on his supporters to go out and vote. He also spent time attacking Vice President Kamala Harris for her calls for unity in her closing argument speech, despite her recently referring to the former president as a fascist.
You know, she talks about unity. Oh, unity, unity. Oh, yeah, unity. By the way, he's like Hitler. He reminds me of Hitler. He's a fascist. She's talking about we're going to have unity, and then she calls me a fascist in the next sentence. This is the worst unifier.
This rally came the same day Kamala Harris was also campaigning in the Southwest, making stops in Arizona and Nevada. In Las Vegas, Harris highlighted Trump's role in reversing Roe v. Wade, leading to abortion bans in 21 states.
When Donald Trump was president, he hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. They did as he intended, and now in America, 1 in 3 women lives in a state with a Trump abortion ban.
Abortion remains one of the top issues for voters during this election, along with the economy and immigration. The opportunities to vote in the election are quickly closing. Rex Oates has details.
Today is the last day of early voting in Texas, which has been busy. Alicia Pierce with the Secretary of State's office says so far about 7 million people have cast a ballot.
And when you look at early voting in person and then early voting by mail, we already have about 40% of registered voters who've cast a ballot.
For those who voted by mail, there is a new portal to track the envelope. It's on the state's website, which is votetexas.gov. Voters still have time to correct any mistakes. Next up is Election Day, which is on Tuesday. Those lines should be long too. I'm Rex Oates, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
San Antonio City Council is divided over a recommendation plan to get rid of horse-drawn carriages downtown. Councilman Manny Pelayo says we need to protect our brand, and live horses on city streets are not favorably viewed.
I've spoken to San Antonians all over this city who express more support for excluding horses from downtown than keeping the horses downtown.
The ban would wipe out 5 small businesses and 81 jobs. A vote may happen in December. An executive order in Texas now requires hospitals across the state to ask patients about their citizenship status. The mandate set to take effect today is an effort to tally up how much money the state spends on medical care for undocumented immigrants and request that money back from the federal government. Despite the order, hospitals are required to give emergency medical care to patients regardless of their immigration status. Also, patients are not required to answer the question. Well, a new era begins at the San Antonio Fire Department as Assistant Chief Valerie Frosto became the city's first female fire chief. Eric Lycombe reports.
Of the United States.
Of the United States.
And of this state.
And of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
That's Valerie Frosto taking the oath of office as a fire chief by unanimous approval of San Antonio City Council. The 51-year-old San Antonio native has been with the department for a quarter of a century and has worked in every aspect of it. Not only did she beat out dozens of competitors nationwide, she withstood disparaging remarks about women from her former boss, as well as an effort to oust her from the running by the union.
It never even crossed my mind. I always have a positive attitude, and I just continue to move forward.
She vows to improve communications, transparency, training, and resources for her 1,800 firefighters, about 100 of whom are women. Eric Lycombe, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
The Spurs won big last night in Utah, 106-88 over the Jazz. Here's Chris Paul after the win.
Man, hard to get wins in this league. It's a really good win. Everybody stay together, stay locked in.
Big time, Vic. Big time from Vic too. And everybody, go win.
And big time Vic is Victor Wembanyama, and he had the second 5x5 game of his career with 25 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 steals, and 5 blocks. The feat makes him the third player with multiple 5x5 games of all time, joining Hakeem Olajuwon and Andre Kirilenko. And an important reminder, clocks will go back 1 hour this Sunday. It is 8:06. Remember, your trusted source for timely and in-depth election coverage is WOAI. Count on us to deliver the latest updates on Decision 2024. I'm Charity McCurdy. Traffic and weather coming up.
San Antonio's first news. He is here. He is in studio. He is Randy Beamer. It is Fridays with Beamer. We will dive into all things on the record and this election with Randy in a flash. But first, let's get you caught up on traffic and weather together.
Cloudy skies today, stray shower, thunderstorm, possible highs in the low 80s. Tomorrow, showers in the morning, then cloudy in the afternoon, highs in the low to mid 80s. And then on Sunday, a shower or two in the morning, followed by partly cloudy skies in the afternoon, highs in the upper 80s. It is 70 degrees in Alamo Heights, 70 degrees in Leon Valley, and 69 degrees here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time 810.
San Antonio's first news, that is Mr. T, Tim Merriman. She's Charity McCurdy, and in studio. And if you're watching on YouTube, you see him right now. And like us, he is wearing red to remember everyone deployed until they all come home. We wear red on Fridays, but on Thursdays is his television program, On the Record. Thursday nights, 7 p.m. on KLRN television. All episodes on demand at klrn.org. The one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Randy Beamer.
Wow. Thank you.
Again, the most sarcastic intro I ever.
It's all true.
Really appreciate
It is all true.
I feel like we're at a rally or something.
It's
We're not
inappropriate.
here to talk about this program. I'm sorry.
You should do rallies. You should.
No.
A Randy Beamer rally.
2 or 3 people. I'm just here for charity. No, we're not going to start that. We're not going to analyze charity. Although, how do you feel before the election? All of you guys, because hey, Charity, what are you covering? What do you think, Chris? It's the election. How do you feel with, not having to say how many days till the election?
I will celebrate that once that finally comes to an end. But it's exhausting, not only because we're poring over the details, but also because it's just been such a volatile election cycle, more than any other in recent memory. So, there's a lot of anxiety too. It's like, okay, then what happens after the fact? How is everybody going to react? Are we going to be able to just go on with our normal everyday lives?
Now, do you get the reaction that I had working at a TV station, and it got worse over the past 10, 20 years, where you would do a story and you have different people interpret that story in different ways, saying, oh, she's biased, she's against this candidate. Or I would get the same thing on the same story from the right and the left. And they were convinced, no matter what you say, that you're biased.
I've never been called a raging liberal or MAGA right wing, and I'm thankful for that, because hopefully people are just getting the facts of the story and they're drawing their own conclusions. However, it's just people do have selective hearing devices from time to time, and they will ask for clarification. Did I hear you just say this? That kind of thing.
Yes.
And I respond.
And see, when I was working at Channel 4, NBC, a lot of people, liberal, Tom Brokaw, this is back in the day. Or, well, you're right-wing, Sinclair Corporation.
Yeah.
And so they come at that. Or when we were Clear Channel, it was you and Rush Limbaugh.
Oh, yeah.
Like we're hanging out in the park or something. So
Wait, you weren't hanging out with Rush?
No.
Oh.
At his compound, his bunker in Florida.
There you go.
But so I just think that's sad going into this, that people are going to see, what they want to see, hear what they want to hear. And what kind of stories do you think you'll be covering starting Wednesday morning? I mean,
unfortunately, the election still.
Well,
I don't think it's going to be decided yet.
We don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know.
Believe.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not violence. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully
but what
not.
about reaction to it? What do you think the reaction's going to be?
Depending on the outcome, I think we're going to hear everything from I'm moving out of the country to the election was rigged. So it just depends on what side of the political aisle.
And do you remember 2000?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh,
Oh, yes.
The hanging Chad.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, it just brings up all that kind of stuff. And the polling, we had on the record, you talked about that. We had on the record, I think it was last week, Brian Gervais with the Center for Public Opinion Research here in San Antonio, UTSA's new polling center. And I asked him afterward, who do you think is going to win? And he just shook his head and said, this is the closest.
It is.
And the polls, there are so many polls. There are aggregates of polls that are aggregated different ways. Some take into account the Republican and Democratic, some don't. Some weight them. And that's the problem with the polling right now, I think, is that the weighting, WEIGHT,
right,
how they weight them and try to make up for undercounted people, they have no idea. One thing that's interesting about polling so far is more women are voting early.
Yes.
So, but who knows?
Yeah, who does know?
Yeah, I've been citing the fact that Hillary was 6 points ahead of Trump in 2016, yet he won. That Biden was 9 points ahead of Trump in 2020. It was much closer. But also you look at 2022, the Republicans were predicting the red wave. Granted,
Yes.
Trump wasn't in that election, but that polling was wrong in the other direction. Republicans expected to win all these seats in the House and Senate, and they did not.
And they also had to assume how many people are going to vote. And it was from 2016 to 2020, it was they undercounted people who didn't have a college degree, is what they said. And so the Trump voter, those with a high school instead of college, more likely to vote for Trump, they undercounted. So I think we're going to come back, and that story that Charity is going to have next is who is actually going to win.
Yep.
Going to be interesting. More
Charity's
coming.
going to predict.
Yes.
Oh.
We can get Charity's prediction coming
Coming
right
on
up.
the record.
Yes. More with Randy Beamer coming right up. WOAI News Time 816.
Hello.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Have you voted
Good
yet?
stuff.
I have.
You have? Was it a long wait?
It was about 20 minutes, half hour.
That's not bad.
And then I took my mom. I was at the Tobin Library on Austin Highway.
Okay.
But it was Sunday.
Okay.
So it was the slowest.
See, I didn't know they were open Sunday. I forgot about that.
12, yeah. I didn't.
12 to 6, I
well,
think, yeah.
First, my mom was convinced last week. Yeah, they're open 8 to 8. I heard it on TV. So we're going to go over there. Okay, so it was 7 o'clock. There's no one.
Oh,
there.
no.
So I voted on Sunday and kind of scoped it out. And then I took her Monday to the Castle Hills City Hall.
Yeah.
And there was no one there.
Oh, beautiful.
Wow. So you got right in?
Yeah.
See, that's how it was in Floresville. My wife talked me into voting early because we don't know what's going to happen here on Tuesday. So, I usually wait till election day. So we went 5 minutes from the parking lot to voting and back to my car in 5 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you vote? Did you?
I did vote. I went, it's where Charity went. I went the next day, precinct 3, Wurzbach Parkway at Interpark.
Yes.
And 15 minutes from car to car.
Cool.
Get out of the car, 15 minutes in. I took a book, so I thought it was going to be, it took her 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I know you're not supposed to have an electronic device in line. So I thought, all right, I'm taking a book. Didn't get a chance to read the book.
You can't do that at the library. They think you're taking a book.
Exactly.
I also noticed
You're stealing a book, sir.
It seemed like, I don't want to say more women. Maybe it was just a crowd.
No, there was women, yeah.
There were a woman and her mother and her daughter.
Yeah.
Who goes to Rice. And
Yeah.
we wound up talking to them. And the guy had told me before, one of the poll watcher people, that it was an hour and a half the day before that they had the line out wrapped around the building. That was
I
on
guess it
Saturday.
depends on when you went, man.
But if a Tuesday is going to be like that,
Well, that's what I was worried
That's
about.
why
too.
I'm scared to death. I might have to
Plus,
wait
we
3
don't know
hours
what's going to happen
on
here.
election day.
We don't know what's going to happen here with Terry being here. So,
all of the mayors and the former mayors and the whole thing, they seem to expect Trump to win. They didn't.
no,
say-
Alex, we do not say who we voted for. Thank you.
No, I'm.
No, that's
So
private.
even Ron Nierenberg admitted that his.
I didn't. Well, he spoke before I got there.
Okay.
But I don't want to say they thought they gave the impression to me.
Okay.
I don't want to quote them or
Yeah, that was
paraphrase.
kind of the subtext you felt.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was interesting. Ivy Taylor doesn't live here anymore.
She doesn't. No.
She's in North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
Or something.
It sounds like a name of a book. Ivy Taylor doesn't live
Doesn't live
there.
here anymore. It's a- yes, it
Or a
is.
miniseries could be.
Or a documentary by Randy Beamer.
Or a
Ivy Taylor
Hallmark
doesn't live
movie.
Oh, there's the big news right there.
Yeah. How'd she do with the hurricane? The hurricane.
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 The
They were
hurricane.
talking about how that we came together as a city. 2005, we had 30,000 people to dinner here.
So was
San
Ivy
Antonio.
on the panel or no? She was
on the panel.
She was.
She
Okay.
was on
cool.
the panel, and who else? Nelson Wolf.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm going to go to Getaway on the weekend.
Do you want to reveal publicly
Sure.
where you're going? Okay.
Stand by,
That could
Chris.
be-
You just going to throw it to her?
Adoring fans.
Just
Okay.
gonna
Yeah.
throw it to her?
No, I just
We're about to find out where Randy Beamer will spend his weekend, and it's not going to be in San Antonio. Charity, what stories are you following?
Well, one day after both candidates were in Arizona and Nevada, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are both scheduled to be at locations in Milwaukee. A new law takes effect for Texas hospitals that require them to ask a patient's citizenship status. And San Antonio City Council remains divided on the phase out of those horse-drawn carriages downtown. We'll have more right now, traffic and weather.
Cloudy skies today, stray shower, thunderstorm, possible highs in the low 80s. It is 68 degrees here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time 821.
San Antonio's first news. We always look forward to Fridays, not because it's just Friday, because it's Fridays with Beamer, Randy Beamer in studio. And Randy, we've been asking people, our listeners all morning, how are you going to spend the final weekend before this election? Things could get intense next week for all we know. How is Randy Beamer going to spend the weekend?
Well, I'm going to get away because I had planned this. The whooping cranes.
I love the whooping cranes,
back
yes.
To the Texas coast from their summer grounds in Canada. I was going to go down there, Rockport. I booked a tour because they had another reason to go. Going to and yes, there is a Rockport Film Festival.
Ooh.
Which, they're making gang signs.
Yes,
here in
we
the
are
studio.
doing gang signs here.
He's telling me I got till 8:26.
Yeah, what time he's supposed to
all
be
right.
out.
Yeah,
Yes.
what time you need to cut his microphone.
He's wearing red, so he's a Crip. So,
I know, a blood.
Yes.
oh, it's a blood. The
I'm a
Crips wear
blood,
blue.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the charity's wearing.
There's your
I'm
street
sorry.
cred,
So
Chris.
anyway, there's a Rockport Film Festival.
Yes.
We submitted to that. It's in this weekend's the Jesse Trevino film. That
Oh,
we
cool.
did.
So your film is in the Rockport Film
It is
Festival.
in the yes.
How cool.
Answering the question:
Wow.
Is there a film festival in Rockport?
We
And
now know there
yes,
is.
It's an artsy thing. So I was going to go down there and do that. Today it's in there. It's a 3-day festival, and then I wanted to go to the whooping crane tours.
Yeah.
Last night they tell me, they text me, there's not that many cranes here yet.
You think maybe
So
it's
you
the
might
strange
wanna
weather
book.
we've been
I
having?
think it
When the
is.
cranes hear that Randy Beamer's coming to Rockport, though, I think the cranes are all going
Well, I've done stories. Have you seen the cranes in Rockport? Charity, have you ever been down to the coast? and seen them?
Yes. I love the whooping cranes. They're awesome.
I've done stories on them. You go back. But I think this weekend, even if it rains down there, it's a good time to go and take black and white pictures.
Always.
And just kind of get away. Charity, do you plan to binge on election news? Or look at that face! She had a tick. I think there was a slight stroke there, Charity.
Hey, I'm gonna check out and go to my happy place and be with my people that make me extra happy, and that's my immediate family. And we might go camping. I don't know.
Wow.
If the mood strikes, it just depends on how the weather pans out because there's some rain in the forecast. So, I'm
it'll be
gonna
fun.
find my zen this weekend, Beamer.
Chris, wow! Wait, Charity's Zen. I think that's a new.
I like that.
That's a new segment.
Oh,
Yeah.
Chris, where are you going?
I am going to be home in front of the television set. I'm watching Fox News, CNN. I'll even watch MSNBC. I'm going to watch Real Time with Bill Maher because he's always in. Van Jones on CNN, one of my favorite commentators.
Real America's
binge.
Voice, The Young Turks. What are the
I'm
other
gonna
ones?
binge, yeah.
All those.
Listen to the Ted Cruz podcast.
Yeah.
Mr. T has his head on his
I am
shoulder
not
like,
doing
ain't no
that.
way.
I am not doing that. I am checking out, watching some football, maybe a movie or two, and just kind of chilling. Got some grass to mow too, so that's therapy for me.
Okay, I thought you just said got some
I
grass.
mean, when
I got some good grass to mow.
Oh, okay.
Got some good grass to mow,
This is
Randy.
Is that what they're calling
Which
it?
brings us
Okay.
back to Charity.
Yes. How can I help you?
You're in the bubble. So what do you think the reaction here locally is going to be? Are we going to see any demonstrations? Are we going to see anything like that?
On social media, yeah. I hopefully that's as ugly as it gets. But as far as my fellow San Antonian, I feel like we keep it classy in San Antonio for the most part. And I think cooler heads will prevail. It's places like Pennsylvania and Washington, D.C. I'm worried about.
Yeah, and what do you think? Social media. Are you, Chris, as you're into all the news, are you going to check out social media? Do you go on X? Do you go on?
I do.
TikTok.
Yeah,
and all that stuff?
I do, and I mean it's often ugly, especially on X, formerly Twitter. But it's part of the story. It's part of the fabric of America
But
right
it's
now.
also part of misinformation. You see, there's a
Oh,
lot
lots of
more
it, yes.
misinformation at the last minute. So I would recommend, if you're going out to vote, do it today.
Yep.
It just started 8:00.
Yep.
It started at 8, ends at 8 tonight, and it's going to be a lot easier, I think, to vote today than next.
I agree.
Now, Randy, can you stick around for a little longer?
But only for charity. I'm
Okay.
just
Please
here-
do then. Yes.
I'm just here to
It's all for charity.
maybe make one comment per segment.
I think you can help
Okay.
Charity find her zen in the next segment.
Another breakthrough. Yeah.
In the next
Well,
segment.
you know, there was that whole hugging booth controversy.
Yeah, there was
Oh.
controversy. Yes.
Yeah, some people
There
were
was?
disappointed there wasn't
yeah.
an actual booth.
Oh.
So
Yeah, I had
maybe
to
we'll get into
explain.
that coming up. More with Randy Beamer in studio. WOAI News Time 826.
Hello. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, this thing shows at 1 o'clock, and it's like, oh, there's a Rockport. But
There's a lot of things in Rockport, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Rockport's a
saying.
cool place, man.
Well, see, I haven't been down there in a while. I like to go cover the weirdest things. I mean, that
Like the
was my beat.
Sandcastle Fest. They have Sand Fest. You've been down there for
I
that?
haven't been down
That
there.
is awesome. Dude, there
I've
are
seen pictures of
there
that.
are some amazing things that they do with sand.
You ever been to the Rattlesnake Roundup in Alice?
No.
No.
The Luling Watermelon Thump?
Watermelon Thump I've been to, yeah. Yeah, it's very cool. Very cool. And then there's
Yeah.
another rattlesnake roundup in Freer, Texas. That's the big one.
Yeah, wait, what's the one south? Yeah, Freer.
Freer.
Right.
Yeah, that's the big one. No.
Yeah.
No. Look, I don't mind snakes. I'm not scared of them, but I'm not going out of my way to visit them. No. No.
Oh, here's another one.
I've killed enough. I don't need to do that, man.
Horned
No.
toads.
Love horned toads.
And there's some kind of festival up in it's near Abilene where I may have mentioned it before. There was a horned toad that they put in the what do you call it? Cornerstone of a building.
Okay.
Of the courthouse in the 1890s.
Oh, my
early
goodness.
1900s, and then they opened it up 25 years
It's
later.
still alive.
Supposedly,
Yeah,
still
I've heard
alive.
that. Yeah.
Crazy.
And
I've
then
heard that. Yeah.
he Old Rip is the name.
Yeah.
And he supposedly lived. They took him to see whoever it was. They took him to the White House. He was on a tour, came back,
And he died.
finally died. And they put him, and he's still there
In the
in a coffin in the side of the new.
And you can see the
building.
coffin.
tremendous.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Used to catch those things when I was a kid, man. We used to catch them at my elementary school, which was right down the street. We used to catch them in the playground
One of
all the
those
time.
places down there is a Floresville or something that billed itself as the horned toad capital. of
Yeah,
the world.
but see, I don't see them.
They don't. Well, I went down there to shoot it for the
Yeah.
story, and this guy was going, and there's none.
I haven't
went down to South
seen.
Texas.
I have not seen one since I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, at all. We used to see them all the time.
I saw some when I first came here in the 80s.
Yeah.
But
see?
I went to shoot in Fort Worth at the zoo. They have now at the San Antonio Zoo. They have the breeding program.
Right.
That kind of stuff.
Well, I've got these things in my yard that look like horned toads, but they're lizards like this long, and they got kind of like they kind of look like the face of a horny toad, but they're long and fast.
Those are demons.
Yeah, no kidding. And they're fast as hell, man. That much I will tell you. They are very fast because they can run from my lawnmower.
Like iguanas.
No, they get about that long. That's the biggest one I've seen is this long. I've seen them little like this, but I've seen some big ones here lately, and they can outrun my lawnmower. So they're fast.
Went to Cuba.
Yep.
Guantanamo Bay once, and there's
Those lizards, those giant dragons.
You been to Mexico? You ever gone to Chichen Itza?
No.
There's a bunch of them there.
I've been to Acuna though, down in Del Rio.
Yes, they don't have the same kind.
No, they have the donkey lady.
They have
Though. Yeah,
different
the
kinds of
donkey
demons.
dances and stuff. I was in high school and we went down there, and yeah,
You went to the donkey?
went to the
Are you
donkey
on?
show. Yes,
Did you just turn your mic down?
I did not turn Charity down. No, I did. Yeah, I was
Don't
young.
forget to bring her back up.
I was young and stupid. Yeah. What can I say?
How old were you when you went to the donkey show?
16.
So,
Yeah.
for the listeners out there, a bonus. What is the donkey show?
It's something you really can't describe.
No, go ahead.
No,
describe it.
you really can't. No, it's
What does the
awful.
donkey do?
The donkey is actually not there. It's they use a phallic that's supposed to be donkey sized.
Oh my
I
God.
would feel
Yeah.
ripped off.
I wasn't feel ripped off at all. I didn't want to go, but I went. I was peer pressured into going.
Have you ever been to a place on the border where they pat you down for knives and guns?
No, never.
Went to after we covered the Pope coming to Monterey. This is decades ago. John Paul II. We went to a place in Laredo where they pat you.
They really patted you down?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just it was like
No, but we were down there.
that was on this side.
Yeah. Well, I was in Laredo for a Spurs game, preseason game played down there. Me and Walter Pasacreta and Jeff Exler went down to cover it. And we met this guy at this bar, and he invited us to this party at the hotel next to our hotel. And we got patted down going into there, into that party, and come to find out, the guy holding the party was some drug lord.
Wow.
Yeah. Once I found that out and I started looking at the people, I told Walter and Jeff, I said, look, I'm ready to go. And Walter's like, no, we're going to stay for a while. I said, look, I can walk back to the hotel from here. I can see it.
Yeah.
So I walked back to our hotel because I did not want to be there anymore.
Drug lord's
That was
party.
actually Diddy's.
No, but you can tell. And I hate to say this, but the dude, if you looked at him, you're thinking him, yeah, drug lord. I mean, the silk shirt unbuttoned down to here, all the chains, and all the people around him as he's sitting in like a thing, and they're all hanging on every word he said. I looked at them guys and I said, dude, I'm not staying. I don't want to be here, man.
You know what I didn't get to go to? I was invited to is Pitbull with Thomas J.
Oh,
Henry.
I no kidding.
Yeah, because I worked at Channel 4
sure.
and he advertised.
I hear he's a nice
And
guy.
He just wanted his whatever passes for celebrities
Right.
in San Antonio.
Right.
But I was out of town.
Well, we have a guy that works here looks just like Pitbull.
Really?
He was at ApelkaCon, and as a matter of fact, I call him Pitbull. His name is Joe Silva. And every time I see him, because the first time we saw him when he came in, he had his sunglasses on. I told Charlie, I said, Pitbull's here. Yeah, just looks just like him, man. I said, damn, Pitbull's here. What's Pitbull doing here? Yeah,
Does
so
he hate the nickname by now?
oh yeah, he loves it. Now every time I
he
see him, I say, hey, Pitbull.
So there's Pitbull, there's Mr. T.
Yes.
Who else?
Which, by the way, guys, we'll be right back.
If she had guns pointed at her.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
Cheney has been a vocal Trump critic ever since the Capitol riot and has since endorsed Vice President Harris. Today is the last day of early voting in Texas, which has been busy.
On the whole, early voting has gone pretty well. It's been relatively smooth.
Alicia Pierce with the Secretary of State's office says for those who voted by mail, there's a new portal to track where it is. There's a section on the state's website, which is votetexas.gov. The polls close today at 8 p.m. Enrollment for the Affordable Care Act is in focus amid election tensions and the future of health care. Here's Fox's Kristen Goodwin.
Open enrollment has started for the Affordable Care Act marketplace for 2025. It comes just days ahead of the election and talk about the fate of the program. Vice President Kamala Harris has vowed to maintain and grow the Affordable Care Act, which is used by millions of Americans. She and fellow Democrats say former President Trump has made dozens of attempts to get rid of it, which the GOP presidential nominee denies. The former president has said he has concepts of a plan he says would be better. Open enrollment for the coverage ends on January 15th, but to have coverage in the new year, folks must enroll by December 15th. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
A new law goes into effect in Texas today that some say has created fear among certain communities. Governor Abbott says he wants to collect data on the cost of caring for undocumented patients. So starting today, state hospitals are required to ask for a patient's citizenship status. Critics are crying foul. Stephen Love, president of the DFW Hospital Council, says in a true emergency, you will be treated regardless of immigration status or ability to pay.
The one thing hospitals, especially in the emergency department, wants to do is to keep people as calm as possible. They certainly don't want to upset people, by asking their legal status. And we certainly hope it won't deter people from getting care.
Love says some may refuse to answer about their legal status, and that will be recorded. He says hospitals will gather the information and report back to the state by March of next year. A man convicted of attempted capital murder is back in custody after escaping from Bexar County deputies yesterday. Deputies were loading Antoine Foster into a transport vehicle from the county courthouse when he jumped out of the vehicle, slugged a deputy, and ran off. He was recaptured before 6 p.m. Foster was convicted earlier Thursday of attempted capital murder of a police officer and sentenced to life in prison. He'll now be charged with escape, evading on foot, and assaulting a public servant. Well, a new era begins at the San Antonio Fire Department as Assistant Chief Valerie Frosto becomes the city's first female fire chief. Eric Lycum reports.
Of the United States.
Of the United States.
And of this state.
And of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
That's Valerie Frausto taking the oath of office as a fire chief by unanimous approval of San Antonio City Council. The 51-year-old San Antonio native has been with the department for a quarter of a century and has worked in every aspect of it. Not only did she beat out dozens of competitors nationwide, she withstood disparaging remarks about women from her former boss, as well as an effort to oust her from the running by the union.
It never even crossed my mind. I always have a positive attitude, and I just continue to move forward.
She vows to improve communications, transparency, training, and resources for her 1,800 firefighters, about 100 of whom are women. Eric Lycum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
The Spurs won big last night in Utah, 106-88 over the Jazz. Here's Chris Paul after the win.
Man, it's hard to get wins in this league. It's a really good win. Everybody stay together, stay locked in. Big time, Vic. Big time from Vic too. And everybody, good win.
Yeah, big time Vic is Victor Wembanyama, who had the second 5x5 game of his career with 25 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 steals, and 5 blocks. The feat makes him the third player with multiple 5x5 games of all time, joining Hakeem Olajuwon and Andre Kirilenko. And a reminder, clocks go back an hour this Sunday. Daylight saving time ends at 2 a.m. November 3rd and starts again in March of next year. It is 8:37. Traffic and weather together in a minute, but first, a check of your money and the world of business. We welcome in Courtney Donahoe live at the Bloomberg News Desk. Have a great weekend, Courtney. Remember, your trusted source for timely and in-depth election coverage is WOAI. Count on us to deliver the latest updates on Decision 2024. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news. Fridays with Beamer. Beamer in studio. Great to have Randy Beamer on board. And Randy, of course, you can take this segment anywhere you would like to, but I know that Charity is trying to find her zen for the weekend.
What is zen? And
that's a great question.
What would you recommend for zen? Is very important in the week before an election where we've been bombarded by you talking about the election in that sweet radio voice. What do you recommend for people out there in San Antonio to find their zen?
I would say get outside, get outdoors, enjoy the cooler weather, whether it's taking a hike, going to one of the mini parks in the San Antonio area, even just being at the beautiful Pearl downtown. I mean, be outside, get some vitamin D. I think that does wonders. And just moving your body. You don't have to do any vigorous exercise. Just get out and walk.
Do you meditate? Are you into yoga?
You know,
Do you have a mat?
I wish I could dedicate the time to that because I'm not against it. I think it's very, very powerful way of reducing stress and maintaining clarity and focus. However, I choose sleep over meditation early in the morning.
Your zen has more Z's.
Yes, exactly.
Chris, what's your zen? How do you find zen?
I'm going to answer this straight, believe it or not. I wake up every morning at 1:30 to meditate. I meditate for 30 minutes, typically from 1:30 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Wow.
I don't do yoga. I want to because I saw Sting at the Alamo Dome. And he's in his mid-70s. And he does yoga and he is cut. And I realized watching Sting, I need to do crunches. And I need to do whatever Sting does because that dude looks very, very good.
Yes.
And he's 10 years older than I am.
Before we get to Mr. T's zen, how do you get up, wake up, and then meditate, which to me seems kind of like sleeping. How do you meditate?
You sit up straight with a straight spine. You align your spine. And for me, the fact that I am sitting up straight to meditate, it keeps me awake. I'm in a position.
How do you meditate? Do you think about nothing, as they supposed to say? You suppress all thought bubbles.
In my case, I focus on my breathing. You breathe in and out, and as thoughts come, you release them. So you're trying to focus on your breath, and the breath kind of guides you through the meditation, and you release. Thoughts happen. It's hard to shut the thoughts down, but the more you do it, the more you can release your thoughts.
Okay. And as far as I'm sorry, Randy, as far as your positioning, Chris, are you, as the kids say, crisscross applesauce? Like
the lotus position as a middle-aged guy who has bad knees.
Yeah, I can't get up.
My knees won't do the lotus position, so I sit in a chair and I keep my spine straight.
Okay.
Charity, your position on this? I mean, while you ask.
Well, I've never, I think, tried meditating just because, again, I'm always so hard up for time, and I'm always looking at the clock every 2 minutes because I have so much to do before getting in the car and driving to work. So my position is constantly on my feet and just getting my steps in the house.
Mr. T?
Like Chris, I get up at 1:30 in the morning, but I medicate. I don't meditate.
Self-medication.
So, yeah. And then, from there, it's downhill. So, yeah, it's great.
Wow. Well, now when you do yoga kind of things, Charity, but you don't meditate?
No, I can't do the whole close your eyes, deep breathing, think of clouds. I can't because I have intrusive thoughts. I think of, oh, wait, did you pack the water bottle in the kid's backpack? Oh, did you put out socks? And, all these mom
OCD.
things kind of enter the brain because, it's a silent labor for women, Randy Beamer. We have to think about all these things for everyone else in the household.
Why are you pointing to me?
Yeah.
No, I'm just explaining to you
she's
as my
pointing at you.
therapist,
I'm just saying.
how this all works.
Wait,
So.
although silent labor doesn't sound like any labor that I've ever experienced.
Well, I'm just saying, generally speaking, it's the women who bear the burden of making sure, the dental appointments, all the clothes are set up for school, the lunches are packed, that kind of thing. And again, for our listeners with selective hearing devices, generally speaking, because there's some great dads and maybe, single parent families where the dad is doing everything. So
yeah.
Just saying.
Thanks for throwing that out there.
Yeah, way to go.
We have one more segment with Randy Beamer. He'll try to figure out what all of this means, and he will send us all off onto our weekend. Before that, though, right now, let's check in with Joe Pags of the Joe Pags Show. He's got a big show this afternoon right here. And Joe, the election is only 4 days away. Can you believe it? Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Chris. Yeah, it is the last Friday before that Tuesday when we go to the polls. Well, a lot of us have already gone to the polls, but when we finally get a tally of what's going on, will we find out on Tuesday who the winner is and who the next president is going to be, either Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? We also have a couple of U.S. representatives coming on today. Chip Roy, the great state of Texas, and the guy with the biggest border district, Tony Gonzalez, is going to join us, plus surprises from the campaign. Do not miss the Joe Pag Show today on a Free Speech Friday, right here, 5 o'clock, News Radio 1200, WOAI.
And
But when I
we're
started
back.
reading books, there was a green book out. It was very popular.
Yeah, I have over times in my I've fallen away from it and not done it for months at a time. But when I do it, I'm
Now, is your wife up?
No. She wakes up at about 4 or 5, so she's not up. So I'm the first.
You go in, so you go somewhere else.
I go into another room.
It goes into his meditation studio.
Into my meditation studio. No,
So
I go
would
into
say
another room.
hit the alarm.
Yeah.
Well, I'll turn that meditation in.
Well, and with this, before I had this job, I'd be meditating at like 9
Yeah.
a.m. or whenever I would wake up. And now with this job, and it always gets earlier and earlier. Now it's like, if I'm going to do it, I got to do it at 1:30 because otherwise with these hours, I've tried to do it after and I'm exhausted and I pass out and I nap. And then you wake up from your nap and it's 4 o'clock and you've got all these things to do before you have to go back to sleep at 6:30.
Well, now, do you then get up and like take a shower? Do you exercise? Do you?
I take a
breakfast?
shower, but
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out where to get the exercise in so that I can look like Sting.
Jeez,
God, he is-
man, that guy is amazing.
It was.
Well, I'm going to wait to ask you because I like to be surprised.
Mine's a good one. It really
I
is.
like the self-medication.
That's
Well,
maybe I need to
True,
look into that.
dude. It's medicate. I got to wake up and medicate. I mean, there's no lie about
Now,
that.
sleeping. How do you get to sleep?
How do I get
You-
sleep?
I mean, because wouldn't meditation lead?
I would go back to sleep for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I did well.
Do you ever do it at night?
Sleep? Sometimes.
The
I rarely do.
Yeah.
people who do it well, like Deepak Chopra, do it morning and night. Those who recommend it
Right.
or who are like meditation teachers, they say do it in the morning when you wake up, do it at night before you go to bed. I often can't. I'm so tired at night. I can rarely do that with this job. I'd love to. I aspire to. But
Right.
no.
But sometimes at night, you replay everything in the day and blah, blah, blah. It's hard.
People were waving at me walking by. That's what I was doing.
I thought it would.
I mean,
With this job, it's not hard to get. We're exhausted.
That's true.
I'm exhausted by
how much sleep
6:30.
do you get?
Daily?
Yeah.
All together or at one time?
Both.
I typically, if I do it right, I get 5 in the first chunk, and I wear a Fitbit to track my sleep, and then I try to make the nap add up to 8. It often doesn't. It
Right.
usually adds up to 7, but I try to add it up to 8.
Usually end up with about 6 total.
But you do 3 and 3, or
No, 1.5 to
One,
2 during the day, and then try to get 6 at night, but it usually ends up being 4.
that's kind of what I
Yeah.
do. I like to get up and make sure, like today, that
Yeah.
you get up and have something. You're okay. I need to do this. I need
Yeah.
to do this. I'm going to do that. But I think that's interesting that. So you've done it off and on since '82.
Off and on since '82. Recently, more like in the last couple of years, more consistent.
No noise. Sitting in a room, lights out.
It varies. I often no noise. Lately, I will wear my earbuds and play some light. There's like on Sirius XM. There's some meditation and yoga channels with really kind of light, ethereal. I'll put it like to the lowest volume so I can.
I like
barely
my
hear it.
yoga with like some sprinkles in it,
Yeah. I just think
I like the frozen yoga. That's best. The frozen yoga is awesome.
I like that with
But
the stuff on the bottom.
What's
stand
cool,
by, stand
when
by,
I
stand
come
by.
out of it, I journal, and after you meditate, often the pen writes things that are like downloads. They're coming from somewhere else.
Stand by.
I'll tell you more about that someday.
Bidenomics.
Our final moments with Randy Beamer coming right up. First, Charity, what stories are you following?
Just 4 days left until the election, as both Harris and Trump will be in Wisconsin today. City councils approved the city's first female fire chief in a disappointing final jobs report before Tuesday's election. We'll have the latest right now, traffic and weather.
Cloudy skies today, a stray shower, a thunderstorm possible, highs and low 80s. Tomorrow, showers in the morning, then cloudy in the afternoon, highs and low to mid 80s. And then on Sunday, chance of shower or two in the morning, then partly cloudy in the afternoon, highs in the upper 80s. 69 degrees at Alamo Ranch, 69 at the Snake Farm, and 68 right here in Stone Oak. WOEI News Time, 6:51.
San Antonio's first news, our final moments with Randy Beamer. Randy, it's election on Tuesday. Everybody's trying to just kind of gear up for the election. What would you tell our listeners?
I think we should gear down for the election. I'm a little concerned about what might happen that is going to, again, stress us out. Whether or not it happens here in San Antonio, the news, and I think the news media, this is my one critique. I don't do political stuff, but the news media, both right and left, are riling everybody up. And if we just kind of take a breath, think about what's important to you, what the candidate is. Remember that neighbor across the street that has a different yard sign than yours doesn't want to destroy America. You don't want to destroy America. I'm not going to sound like a candidate here, but, remember to be decent and civil, and that we'll get through this.
Amen.
That sounded like my grandfather.
No, but that
sounded good to me.
Sage advice.
Sounded good to me.
Yes.
Charity, do you have any last minute from the news perspective? Go to your bubble. Go to your happy place. By the way, you mentioned your happy place. Where is your happy place?
I have multiple happy places, Beamer, but for the most part, yes. But one that's near and dear is some land that we have in Blanco that we hope to build a house on one day. Not sure if it's going to happen, but for now, we try to get out there as much as we can and just take in the beautiful sky. So,
Chris, where's your happy place?
My happy place is the beach, any beach. And
yes.
And you're headed to Rockport today. So
it rained, but it's going to be cool. Mr. T's happy place. We should ask where online should be your happy place.
No,
we'll do that as a talkback.
Yeah,
at
we
some
can do
point.
that. Yeah.
What is your happy place?
My back porch. Sitting outside watching the deer and all the other critters and putting on, Let It Bleed by the Rolling Stones and cranking it up and watching the animals
you
enjoy
have a
it.
rocking chair out there?
Not rocking chair.
Binoculars.
I have binoculars. Definitely have binoculars. I have a zero
He's a peeping
zero
Tom.
gravity chair out there, so I can.
Really?
Yeah.
You have a cooler,
At times.
a gun,
At times.
animals out in the backwoods.
Yeah, but the animals that come in my yard, that's their sanctuary. I don't really mess with them. The gun is for the snakes.
How about the kids? Get out of my yard. Is that your happy
I
place?
scream at all of them. Get out of my yard all the time. I don't
Randy,
any
you
kids
have to
living
answer
around me.
your own question.
Yes.
Where is Randy Beamer's happy place?
Can I guess?
It's in the yeah.
I'll guess it's behind the lens.
It is.
Ooh.
You're right.
Well played,
It
Mr.
really
T.
transports you. You have a license to ask questions, like being behind a mic and asking Charity where her happy places are, because we've learned that she has multiple happy places, which she has turned a bright red.
She's matching her shirt.
She is as embarrassed. Is embarrassed your happy place? My mom right now is listening and saying, it's getting too weird.
I hear you, Mom.
Well, go to your happy place and just chill over the weekend. I would recommend to everybody. Because at least if you're like us and you watch a little news and you try to keep up with the news, it's hard.
It is.
He is Randy Beamer, and we are hoping, Randy.
It got really quiet.
Yes, well,
Sorry.
Oh my God, this is the final weekend.
Dead air.
So, Randy, we're hoping to have you multiple days next week because it's kind of a big week in America. As much as you're available, we're hoping to
multiple happy places,
multiple happy Beamer days to San
we'll follow
Antonio.
up with Charity and how she feels, and
Yes.
yoga, and Chris's
Amen.
journaling, and meditation, and the self-medication.
There you go.
Of Mr. T.
We'll do all of the above next week. All right. Our thanks to Randy Beamer. He'll be joining us quite a bit next week. Our full team coverage. We are your Election Central headquarters. You're going to want to be right here to, through, and beyond the election on Tuesday. For Randy Beamer and Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman, Charlie Parker, EJ Pacheco doing a great job doing the heavy lifting technically. I am Chris. You got Glenn Beck coming up. Charity in a moment with all the news you need to know about. Right now, your Sean Hannity Morning Minute, WOAI News Time, 8:56.
Everybody have a great weekend.
Adios.
Bye.
Adios.